Nope. You're permanently afflicted now.
Alrighty, we are live on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. And somehow, all of these motherfuckers are tripping. So...
Brad turned it on, man.
How did he make it do it on yours, Daryl?
I don't know, but it came up, said Brad turned on Inflated Eagle.
It's true as that.
Okay, we got fucking Pickle
Here I
Jam
am.
up on the right.
Pickle Man.
Okay, this is episode 45 for the world of Skell.
Brad, this is all your damn fault.
Ghosts.
Turn that shit
I can't
off.
turn off my pickle. I can't turn off my pickles.
This is the kind of fun we have.
Help me.
What happens when you play the light and shoot
Damn it. Damn it, Brad, I'm going to kick your ass for this.
Hit a ring!
I can't turn the stupid thing off now.
There it goes.
Damn. Shit, Brad.
Alrighty, so we have Daryl,
Damn.
Jason, and Brad are all here tonight. If you wish to participate, interact, we like it when you participate in the game and the show. So let me pull up the feed on my phone so I can see if somebody types in. How about that? That would be smart. Turn the sound down. Turn the sound down. There we
Daryl, you
go.
look like Darren Harkonnen. No, you look like Mr. Creosote. I need a bucket.
Brad turned the shit on. I don't even know how to get to it. I'm trying to turn it off, but I don't know how.
If you touch
I
the
should agree with
screen,
like
a little
that.
smiley face appears, and you touch the smiley face, and it has options.
Yeah.
Okay.
Closed caption.
One of them is also to turn it off. It's just
Turn
that
off
the first one
captions.
is...
There we go. Okay.
Why so serious, Brad?
All right. So,
Why so serious?
oh, there we go. Okay. So, a quick recap of where we stand in the game. We had a group of adventurers that freed a bunch of slaves, and they were helping them out in the castle and the slave hold. I'm just ignoring Brad.
Probably a good thing.
And then we switched to some other characters who heard of the tales, went to investigate, were told about them rescuing these folks, and they should go. They were sent on a quest to find these people and help them. So there was a second group that had their own little mini adventure, and then last game they ended up catching up with the original band. And so now what we have in this mixed group of characters leading the slaves back to Black Rock Abbey, going southeast, is Pick, which is an NPC, Rogue, Covidius, an NPC warrior, Boris, played by Daryl, Kettle Tom, an NPC who had traveled with the first group, Vanessa, played by Daryl, a sister of the monastery there at Black Rock Abbey. Guy DeLance, played by Jason, a Knight of the Realm. Shadrach, played by Jason, a Druid of the Aslorian Circle. And last but not least, Prince B, Bartholanthus Amalareth, played by Brad. who is down from the northern Emerald Kingdom of the Elves.
Living in
Boy,
town.
are his arms tired.
And we left off with the sounds of a fight coming from the woods behind the slave hold, because the Acarimans, the people from the a southern continent, who are here to capture slaves from the locals and take them back and use them to build their empire. They came and attempted to retake the fort, but were met by a forest protector, some ancient being, possibly some ancient druid or sorcerer or something along those lines, maybe an avatar of a forest deity. It was never explicitly stated what it was, other than this used to be his land and he was imprisoned, and he was released by the original group. So that fight
returning him the horn.
That fight happened as they were leaving. At least they didn't. Nobody ever got a good look at the fight, but there was a horn sound and the sounds of battle, and there was no one back there. So it's assumed that the Acarimans met up with the forest protector.
With me.
So we pick up.
What?
Unless someone wishes to add or delete or correct the Dungeon Master on his recap. Does anyone have anything they wanted to add?
Not that I can think of.
What time of day did we flee?
It was before noon, I think.
What?
Okay. And we fled inland, is that correct?
Well, you're going southeast, so away from the ocean, because the monastery is
we're going in
that direction.
Yeah, the ocean's to the west.
Where you guys are now is even more north than the Cave of Madness.
Yeah, well, we're way towards it.
So it's going to take...
the monastery.
We have to go up to the top of the big cliff, if I remember right. That's where a trail was, a trail. There may be another way, but
well,
that's how we got there.
You're correct.
No,
so
I think the top of the cliff is the forest, and I think that's where the battle's happening.
So you basically, I need all of you to roll D20s for me, and I will call out each one for their numbers. So let's just go with who's at the top of the screen here. So Daryl, roll a D20.
Am I rolling for my characters?
No, just
Should I roll 2?
Just a general roll, please.
Okay. 20.
Okay. Jason, what did you get?
17.
Okay. And last but not least, Brad on the bottom of the screen. What did you get on the D20?
15.
All right. So with that group success and the natural 20, basically what that means is that over the next 6 days, minus or adding on a day just for random things that can come up, and I can certainly narrate those random things, but I'm thinking things like someone falls and twists their ankle and needs attention, an angry bear is avoided in the woods, perhaps a rainstorm slows down travel for a day or whatever, and all of you have skills and or abilities and or spells that you use to overcome said obstacles. But after a full week, you arrive at the Abbey with everyone safe and sound.
Wow.
Very good. That's fantastic. In that time,
Hold on. Go ahead,
Vanessa
Daryl.
would have healed.
Go ahead, Daryl.
In that time, Vanessa would have healed Guy, if he allows, as well as Boris.
Oh, yeah.
I would consider all of
Yeah.
that just part of what I just hand waved. There was
Okay,
With
good
the-
deal. Just
with
want to
the-
make sure everybody just put yourself at full, buddy.
yeah, with the rolls that you all made, that equated to almost as good of a journey as you could have.
Definitely.
Yeah, my concern was how we're going to feed 55 people.
We have magic.
It's not hard.
Well, yeah, we could have at least put food in people's bellies. They wouldn't have starved. That's for sure.
Well, unless I'm mistaken, I would think that between the occasional, I would guess that there are certain spellcasters that can create food and water, or am I mistaken?
You are not.
You're correct, yes.
Okay, so,
But 55 people is a lot of people. So, but yeah, we at least kept everybody fed. No problem.
all right, very good. So,
I could predict the weather. I knew if we needed to see, yeah, all the stuff we did, if you let me write down some spells, yeah, sure. We would have had a pretty smooth,
sure.
or at least a,
That's,
yeah.
that's me using my experience to say, hey, you should be able to do this. And the only thing that can fuck it up is the dreaded random die roll, and you all rolled really good. So there you go. Sometimes
Well,
the
we got
dice.
enough skilled people.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
So
good stuff.
when you get back to the abbey and the monastery, inside of it, is there anything that you want to do, or was there any kind of conversation that you wanted to have along the way in the journey with any of your fellow characters? So Daryl has his hand up.
Vanessa lets Boris know that she saw his sister in the vision, and Boris realizes that that coincides with what Moses Ronald Flint had told him about his sister being with the slavers. So he's like, Flint was telling the truth. And she's like, I think I saw your sister. Did she have this floral tattoo? And he says, yes, that's her. Also, has Bart appeared with the group, or are you saving that for now till we get to the monastery?
He basically just joined up with them as you guys were leaving the fight. I love the fort. Because
All right.
if I interpreted what he wrote in the chat, he was just going to watch and let things play out before he would do anything.
Yeah, correct.
So that's what he did.
Right.
And if you want to ask him why or what, then that's up to you. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, there he is.
Did Moses Ronald ever reappear? Is he with us?
No, he is not.
I guess he ran away.
He will say, good thing. He and I were going to have a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa is surprised to herself, happy to be back at the monastery. She thought she didn't want to go back there and she was done with it, but seeing it after this ordeal and approaching, she feels elated.
Would Boris tell Guy about his sister?
Yeah?
Guy would respond, see the...
Well,
the
hold on. I would like, the DM would like for that to be role played out then.
Okay.
What would cause Boris to divulge that to Guy? I mean, you got 7 days to pass the time, so but
Guy might even ask him if he learned anything more about his sister.
He would tell Guy because they have become friends over this time that they've met and been imprisoned and freed and
do it, bitch!
fought
Do it!
together.
Do it!
The priest told me that she saw my sister with the slavers.
Yeah, I figured.
So Flint was telling me the truth.
I don't doubt that Flint was using your sister to influence you, and that some of it was true. I'm glad that the sister of the blend can help you. You see, the blend is powerful, Boris.
And she's very friendly.
Yes, she's friendly.
Her skills at healing are very good.
I agree. I've seen others that share her skills. I just meant to tell you, Boris, that if you need my help to find your sister, then you have it.
I will adventure with these people, but he looks around to make sure that Covidius isn't listening and that they are alone. And I don't know about all this business with Covidius. He seems okay, but I did agree to something.
You're right. He hasn't done anything that I would consider dangerous or suspicious. But there seems to be some anxiety between these people. Talking and
he's a bit standoffish, but he seems to share our view of the slavers.
This is true. But as I said, I've heard him and that green man talking, and there seems to be something underlying. They seem to argue. They do it quietly, so I don't know what they're talking about. That's my only observation. But keep an eye on that green man, too. I'm not sure about him. I've never seen a shapeshifter before, and that's frightening.
He seems to be powerful.
Yes, demons are powerful.
Oh, no.
What man can change himself into a bird? Sorcery.
Yeah.
Sorcery.
I've been meeting a lot of those lately.
That's sorcery.
I've only seen ritual magics before we went to that island, and we found that I was bewitched by a Hera, and there was a magic wall. But if the other things Flint said was right, then the islands to the south are where the leaders stay. So we should work on a plan.
Oh, I agree. I'd like to get this information to my my sovereign.
Did you try to buy any of their horses? Oh, wait, we don't have no money.
Whose horses?
The horses those people are riding. Shadrach has a pack horse, and Pick and Covidius both have horses.
Yeah, I didn't know if we even had horses. If there's a horse that he could ride, he'll try to ride it. If there's somebody has an extra horse, but he's not going to mess with the other PC's horses. If he knows that they have horses, he's going to leave them be. Shad's not going to ride a horse.
He has a horse. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has the big pack horse. He had
the was it a draft horse? I thought it was a war horse.
No, that's what Guy had.
Yeah, you rode a war horse when I was reading one.
Yeah, Shad didn't have a war horse, I don't think.
Well,
I forgot.
The Spliff Ranch, I didn't think they sold draft horses. They just sold it was either heavy, light, or medium war horse.
Maybe he did have I guess he did. I really don't remember now. I thought it was a draft horse, but oh well. Whatever kind of horse Shad had, he's not going to ride it. He doesn't need to ride a horse anymore.
Well, it's good because we get a lot of supplies from the port that we had to take with us, so it would have carried some, I'm sure.
I would have to roll a die. I mean, I'm not really sure if Guy would if Shad would let Guy have his horse or not. Unless he said, I'm a knight, blah, blah, blah. Because for one thing, Shad has kind of a bad feeling about knights, because that's the kind of people that wiped out his whole colony when he was younger. So he doesn't. He looks at Guy kind of suspiciously. Now he's like, all people wearing armor are bad. So I'm gonna say, just offhand, Shad will never offer him his horse, and Guy would
Makes
not
sense.
ask for it, and Guy wouldn't ask him for it. So if there's not another spare horse, then Guy will keep his mouth shut.
Hopefully, once we get these people safe, we can make a plan and go with these other people to kick the slaver's butt and save my sister. Thank you for your help.
Well,
Look, I made my bow.
does it look like I don't know much about bows.
It's a limb with a sinew making it bent, and there's like a little crook where the thumb goes. It's a crude.
And I'll be impressed.
It's a crude bow, and he'll shoot a mushroom that's on the ground. Hey, you see that?
Now that's what I've been talking about. Just looking at it, I couldn't tell it from a stick with a string on it. Now show me a sword and we'll talk.
I don't use a
I know
sword.
nothing about bows.
We quite a ways away from where we had the scuffle or whatever.
What? What
Say
did you
that
say,
again,
Ray?
man?
We quite a ways away. We traveled several days from where we were before, right?
At the fort, yeah, we went southeast.
We out in the woods, or we
Yeah, you're mostly in the woods.
you want to have a competition with bow?
A what?
Competition with bow.
Okay.
He laughed.
I can shoot all the way over there.
Cool. So, hey, what about the other elf? You there? Aren't you good with a bow? And he's looking at Pick. Why don't you get in on this? Then this would be worth a bet.
Pick says, sure.
What's the target?
Yeah, you find
Boris, roll me a D12, please.
I got a 4.
Okay. So, you can certainly pick out a tree. Not the best target because it'll probably crack your arrows. So you want something soft if you're going to practice. So, and shooting into the ground isn't necessarily a good idea either. There's a reason why they made, targets out of the material they did. But you guys don't have access to that. So you can take the time to gather up a bunch of things and create a target, or...
I was asking the players, the other characters, what's the target?
He goes and points to stuff right here. This stone. Come on.
Is there any tall grass around?
Yes.
Yes, I'll go gather tall grass, gather a bundle of tall grass and make a target. Take a while.
That takes too long. I point to the knot hole on the stump.
There's definitely in any forest trees that fall down in varying states of decay. So if you wanted to use something like that, you can take the time to turn that into a target.
I point at the knot hole. There's a knot hole. We stand over there, and whoever can shoot the knot hole wins.
Okay.
Let's keep it simple. I like it simple.
Okay, so who goes first?
Yeah, there you go. Let pick go.
Alright. So,
And let's stand at medium range. 20 feet, or 20 yards, right?
Isn't it appropriate that his lordship fire first?
I mean, pick.
He is, after all.
Who's that? Boris is looking around. Who's that?
I want to fire last.
Bartholan?
I said, I want to fire
Oh. Very good.
Alright, let's see here. So, for a short bow, if you have your sheets handy, it should say the range.
It does. Medium is 20. On my flight arrow, which I made 6 of.
Really?
During the week of travel, yes, sir.
No.
Because we had just a...
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just more of a, I'm looking at the range here, short bow.
Oh.
You said medium range is on your sheet, it says 20?
For the flight arrow, it's listed on under the arrow, not the bow.
Okay.
But it says 10, 20, 30. On the sheet that
all right.
I printed.
Yeah, that's cool. So 100 yards. So 100 yards away, that's how far away you're standing, which is pretty good distance if you think about it.
So why does it say 20?
Well, because you multiply the number.
Times 5?
Yes.
Okay.
It
should just give you the number.
Well, what that is, that's giving you the squares.
Okay. So that's -2.
Okay.
Are you going to go first pick, or should I go ahead?
Pick's ready. So he lines up his first shot, and
the target is the knot hole.
All right.
It's a long shot. I hope you can concentrate and make it.
Let's see. Let me pull up Pick's.
Aim carefully, Mr. L.
Watch out, cat. Sorry.
He was sure flaunting that bow when we first met him. Let's see what he can do with it.
Yes, he was. And who wins what? I just want bragging rights. Very good.
Yeah, I will defer to the winner as a champion and hero.
I like the sound of that. You can announce me when we get into the monastery.
All right, that's a bet, Boris.
Very good. He sure is aiming carefully.
Shut up. All right. Okay, so. His first shot flies true, striking the right, like you think it's gonna go in the hole, but it strikes just so close, and at 100 yards you're not exactly sure, but it goes sticks in there.
Is there a crowd gathering to watch? Come on, we got 50 people. Surely there's a crowd gathering.
Well, as the thing's being set up, yeah, they're like, "What's going on? Oh, is this safe? Why are they wasting arrows on this? They should be protecting us. Hey,
Of all the shit they've been through these
it's
days.
something to do. Just let them do it. What are you gonna tell them that they shouldn't be doing it? No, I ain't saying shit. Okay, so who's next?
Boris steps up, pulls back the string, and hits an armor class of That is hit a -3 armor class.
All right. That must have been a good shot because yours is flying true as well. And then sticks what appears to be a little closer to the hole, but not in the hole. So you realize, you begin to realize that when you say knot hole, I am thinking knot hole, like 3 or 4 inches across. That's it.
Yes.
At 100 yards.
That's a tiny target.
So we're talking, you need to hit like an armor class of -5 or better to get it in the
I
knot.
put one arm around Pick and I say, oh, it's close. Let's see what Bart can do.
19.
So Bart,
Look, he's got a magic bow. He done spooked all of you.
I don't have a magic bow.
it should say, I would hope next to the arrow or the bow that it should have a
Tacos 10.
TACO of 10. Okay. So you had an armor class of -9 because you rolled a 19, right?
Yeah.
So it just goes, sinks right in there, no sound.
Ooh.
He's like, I knew it.
Boris starts running over to check so he runs that 100 yards in no time flat to look at the arrows.
Okay, now Brad, what I've got with a missile for you is actually 9.
9. Okay.
Because your normal missile THACO is 10, which is on the left of your sheet.
Right.
And I think you got a +1 with the bow, making it 9.
Alright.
Because you're an elf apparently, and they have a racial ability of a +1 bonus to attack with long or short bows.
Okay.
So I'm guessing on your sheet where it says weapons, does it say short bow and then missile 9? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it say 9 on your sheet?
10 on my tag. Where's 9? What would it be?
If you look under weapons,
Okay.
it says short sword and then short bow. And if
Missile
you-
9. Yeah.
Missile. Okay. All right. So you sink that motherfucker right in there, and they just kind of sit there and go, oh.
Oh.
Nice shot. I'm up at the log now. It's like, ooh.
Pick does this bow and says, good shot, your highness.
Oh, thank you very much.
But I knew it.
I will-
Looking for you, Boris.
Pick says, I want to try one more time though.
Huh?
Let's go. How about me and Boris go for second place then?
We already determined that.
Well,
But I'll shoot again.
Neither one of us got it in the hole though, Boris.
But I was closer. That's
So?
second place.
Closer, that's like almost. That don't count.
Here's your arrow, sir. String it up. And I handed Bart his arrow as well.
So Pick,
Then I'll look at Pick and I'll say, well, so what does second place get then?
what does first place get?
Bragging rights.
So this,
But I will acknowledge Bartholantis as a hero and a champion.
Sure.
Proudly.
so Pick's like, ugh, and he fires again, and this time, it chafes off the outside of the log. He had an armor class of 3.
Oh no.
Oh.
I concentrate and I draw it back and I pull the string. That's a fucking went out of the thing. That is 1 less than last time, so I had a -2.
All right, so once again, you're like next to the hole.
Hey, look at the hog.
Man, that's a small target.
You picked it.
Yeah, I know.
Pick says, I'll go one more time if you want to, Boris.
Wow.
Okay, my arrow's holding up.
Buddy, make a bet with him. Come on, make a bet with him, Boris.
I don't have any money. Let's see. You don't have anything I need.
He has to announce you when we get to the monastery. How does that sound?
Okay, I like that. Whoever
But first,
wins, the other has to announce their presence when we enter the monastery.
and I'll pat Pick on the shoulder and say, this is all in good nature. I mean, no offense.
None taken.
Aha! Boris!
Armor class of 2. It sticks in the log, but it's not. You can't quite hit that bullseye.
All right. Flinging my arrow. 12 hits an armor class of 1.
All right, so it's like just on the edge of on the log, and so Pick's like, that's a long shot. I don't want to waste any more arrows. And he heads up there and he says, if one of you want to help me collect them, that's fine, or I'll grab them all. Do you want them if they're broken?
I go and I'll walk with him and collect them.
All right, Daryl, I need you to roll 3 20s and tell me what they are.
12, 3, and 5.
So one of them is you're able to pull it out of the log. The other two, when you grab them and try to pull them, they don't want to come out and they are destroyed.
Dang.
Pick on his arrows. Good, and good. So he retrieves all 3 of his. No one seems to remember to reach down in the hole to grab Bart's.
I'll do that. I said earlier when I went and checked the first round that I retrieved the arrows, but you didn't make me roll. So I handed everybody an arrow when I first came back. But if you say I didn't, that's cool too.
I mean, I'm fine with it. Brad, roll a d20.
19.
Your arrow, he reaches in and he pulls out your arrow, and it's like smells of lavender, and it's got a love letter on it from the squirrel that he pulls the arrow out, and it's got blood on it, and then it's got a note on it, and when you read it, it says, "Thank you for getting me out of that terrible marriage."
There's no musical note when pulls it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more like my favorite. Hold on. If I can find it here. God damn you.
Is Bart shooting a longbow?
No, short.
Okay.
Come on, fuck.
All of us are shooting short bows.
And where is it? There it is. There it is. So whenever you pull the arrow out for Brad, it's just like...
and it's still complete.
Okay, so that just happened. All right.
Lord have mercy.
Let's go back. Okay, so on the 7th day, you make it to the fort and to the monastery. And
Monastery.
You are recognized. Some of you are more than others. The first group definitely with Pick, Covidius, Kettle Tom, Vanessa,
Shad Monk.
Shadrach, yes. You're asked about these other people and which one of you will take the lead on the explainer of what's going on. Daryl has his hand up.
Vanessa will approach Abbot Patrick.
Abbot Patrick, yeah, look at you go.
To update him on what has taken place and thank him for sending Boris and Guy their way. But
hold on,
she explained,
hold on. All right, so you arrive there, you identify yourselves, you're let in. The captain of the guard comes out. Him and several people, and he's like, welcome back. I must admit I'm very impressed with all of this. He says, I see that you were able to find Shadrach and Covidius.
yes, we did.
We will tell the abbot immediately, and I'm sure that he'll wish to meet with all of you at some point. But for now, we would like to get these people in and make sure everything's okay, and perhaps see if we can't see about getting them some food and an idea of where they need to go, which will take a while. So, men, why don't you escort these people into the monastery, into the northern wing, and at least get them a place to settle in, and we'll tell the chief cook to make more than the usual amount. Sister Vanessa, unless one of you has any specific thing that you need to see the abbot about, I think Sister Vanessa would be the one to at least give an update on the situation. And then he looks over at Shadrach as if awaiting your response for some reason.
Well, I'm not saying this in character. I was going to let Vanessa do all the talking because this is her place. But if he calls upon me, I will give him a full, mildly, version of the things that happened. The battle at the dock.
Well, hold on. What does Shadrach do whenever I presented you with that scene? Don't worry about all this other stuff. Just role play that in a moment, please.
Shadrach will step forward and bow to the abbot. The abbot is there, correct?
No, this is the
captain of the guard.
Captain of the guard.
Captain of the guard. Okay. I'll bow to him and say, we need to speak to the abbot, and other people here need to get messages off to the big city. We're tired. These people need food and shelter.
Yes, I assume so. I was just curious if there was anything that you needed specifically before we remove these people and try to get them situated.
Vanessa will speak up and say, Shadrach, join me.
I'll join her.
Before anyone goes anywhere, I need to make sure everyone here is present and accounted for. So I see Sister Vanessa, Shadrach, Kettle Tom. Of course, Kettle Tom, do you feel like? And Kettle Tom's like, I'm tired. I don't really feel like it right now. If Vanessa and Shadrach want to step up and go meet the abbot, that's fine. I I need some quiet time. It's been a long journey, and I have a lot to process. And the guard says, "What about you two, Covidius and Pick? You're well trusted here." And Covidius is like, "I'm not feeling well. I think I need to go to the infirmary." And Pick's like, "Honestly, I'm just tired. They can do the talking. I'm not the talker here anyway." So he says, and so the sergeant says, "And who's this?" Pointing to Guy.
This is Guy de Lance. He's a knight of the realm and
Oh,
has joined
that's right.
our...
Yes, I remember him now. Pardon me, Guy. I don't know why that slipped my mind. And then he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, and there's our friend Boris. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?" And he kind of starts to
Pretty good.
smile,
We made it.
and he walks over. He says, "I'm so glad you made it. Are you hungry?"
Oh, yes, sir.
"Oh, well, we'll if you can be patient, we'll get you a meal and a place to sit for a while." As a matter
Thank you for your hospitality.
Yes, we're glad to have you. We think very highly of you, Boris.
Thank you.
So he says, "Escort Boris and Guy and anyone else that wants to go to..."
This is our friend Bartalanthus.
Bartalanthus. He kind of looks you up and down. And,
My lord Bartalanthus from the Emerald Forest.
Prince Bartlantis and Emerald Forest, thank you.
well, I would like Bartalanthus to make a charisma check, please. And I would like you to add 4 to your D20.
8 on my D20.
And add that to your charisma for a total of
10.
21.
21. You must have rolled kind of low.
Yeah, I did. Roll a 4.
Okay. So, the sergeant says, "Well, if you're friends with the people who rescued and freed the slaves of this, then you must be okay." And then he turns to Pick and he says, is this actually one of your lords? And Pick says, "Well, I mean, we recognize his kingdom as friends and cousins, but I'm not of his lineage. I am a simple high elf. I am not from the northern woodland realm." And the guy says, "Okay, well, being a prince..."
Not all elves are the same.
"Being a prince, do you require any special accommodations?
No, I'm fine.
And are you here on official business, or are you just happen to arrive at the same time, or..."
Just happened to arrive here. I met you guys on an island and decided to tag along.
And if for any reason do you wish to speak to the abbot?
Not this time, I guess. No.
Okay, and do you require an assistant while you're here?
No, I don't, thank you.
Well, all right. Very good then. And then he turns and he says, "Okay, while we have them set up rooms, let's get everybody there into the kitchen and we'll just give you what we have, because that's what we do. And then and he points to Shadrach and Vanessa, "Why don't you two come with me then, and we'll go see if the abbot is able to be..."
Great idea. We need to speak to him immediately.
And then he bows deeply to Bart and says, "Your Grace," and And then the other people are all escorted away and taken into the temple and the monastery itself. You guys are escorted kind of around the building into a different building around the back of the infirmary, if you will. And there, the sergeant, the captain of the guard knocks on the door, and you hear, "Come in!" And he opens the door. That says panic on it.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. And you all that have met Abbot Patrick before, which would be both of you definitely, see him in the room that was at one time an abattoir, but has now been redone and looks like he's been making himself at home. And he says, "Shadrach, Sister Vanessa," and he walks over to Sister Vanessa and puts his hand out.
Okay, whatever the ceremonial procedure is that Daryl is unaware of, his sister Vanessa takes his hand and bows.
That's basically all it is you would come up and kneel and take his hand and not kiss the ring, but just kind of touch it to your forehead.
Abbot Patrick, it's so good to see you again.
And he says, "Rise, Sister Vanessa, shining light of all that the blend may be." And then he says, "Shadrach of the Woods, you are welcome as well."
I touch my chest and bow slightly. I do not kiss his ring or kneel.
The captain of the guard says, the freed individuals and some of the other group of mercenaries or company or whatever you want to call them, Abbot Patrick, they are either getting cleaned up, or someone that might be looking rough is taken to the infirmary, and then we are making as much space as we can and he's like, yes, I understand. You do well, Captain. Captain, you can stay, or if you think that there's other things you need to do, Captain. And he says, well, I would like to make sure all the people, because there's a bunch of them. He's like, go ahead then, that's fine, you're dismissed, and I'll catch up with you later. And so he leaves, and you guys are in this sort of well-lit structure. The sun is setting, and the scent of burning candles and incense is heavy in this room. It's decorated with carpets on the ground of wooden floor, and there's a small window on each wall, and there's two doors, one to the south and one to the east. And there's a big heavy wooden desk that Shadrach might remember that's been sort of put back just in a different place, and there appears to be no sign that there was a murder here recently.
Well, that's also where the secret compartment was, am I correct?
In the desk, yes.
Yeah.
And he says, so, both go ahead and have a seat, make yourselves comfortable. Sister, just relax. You don't have to defer constantly to my station. We both understand what you've done, and you've earned the respect of being able to relax if you are comfortable enough here in the company of us.
Thank you, Abbot.
Can I offer you something to drink? I have some water and I have some wine.
I would gladly take a glass of wine.
For you, Shadrach, anything?
No, thank you.
Very well.
Sure, you must be thirsty. Our journey's been long. Slake your thirst. The water is holy.
Yes, I know.
So Abbot Patrick pours himself a glass or a mug of whatever and does the same for you, Vanessa, and hands it to you, and he says, okay. And he goes back behind his desk and he takes his little cap off, and he's got this luxurious brown hair that kind of flows down, and you're like, okay, motherfucker, that's enough. And then he proceeds to call out, scribe! And a short time later, somebody comes in, it's a scribe, and he's got a writing thing, and he sits down next at the desk, and he's got his little fold-out thing. So he's got like a seat and a little fold-out like desk, and he does them both, and he sits down, and he's like, now just take, you don't have to write down everything, just take notes and anything important. Because I'm guessing that between the two of you, you might be able to tell me what you found and how you defeated. I'm assuming you defeated someone to get these people out of the slaves hold, am I correct? And he just sits back and
Yes.
waits for you two to start talking.
When I arrived, these men had already assaulted the fort, and the ship was in flames in the harbor. How all that began, I'm not quite sure. Shadrach, maybe you can enlighten us on what befell, how you came to destroy the ship.
The ship was not destroyed, but many of the people evacuated and they fled. We attacked the fortress. We were greatly outnumbered, but I called upon the powers of my faith, and many of the slavers met their doom. Our brave warriors also slew many, but after a long, extended battle, we were forced to withdraw to the forest, and that is where Sister Vanessa found us.
In dire straits.
Yes, as I said, we were greatly outnumbered. We inflicted much damage upon them. And upon returning to the fortress, that is when the ship was damaged. I brought down lightning upon the fortress, destroying its many weapons and some of its defenses, and the enemy fled, leaving these people that we brought back with us. I'm only sorry it wasn't more. But the enemy was only merely defeated, not destroyed. They'll be back.
Many were injured.
My question.
I don't really mention the.
I have a question, and this is more like, I don't really expect you to answer, but the thing that keeps coming into my mind is, how is it they were able to establish such a strong foothold in our kingdom, in our republic, and without anybody knowing? I mean, where are our republic's defenses? Where are the rapid response riders from the Dwarven Kingdom? Where is our halfling naval operations? No, they're nowhere to be found, apparently.
We didn't see any of that.
That troubles me.
Reginald parted ways with us at the fort and said he was writing to Chex to inform the Grand Monkey Muck of what was taking place down here. So maybe we can expect some sort of interaction or reinforcement from them if he is successful.
Wasn't Sir Guy, a knight of that same realm, sent to investigate the slavers? There's your rapid response force. One knight.
No, I'm speaking specifically of the rapid response riders from Skell-Ghosts. And
no, the only army we saw was from Akarema.
Yes.
There were hundreds of them, not just a handful, hundreds.
they assaulted the fort before we left. We fled, and a guardian animal, I think, Shadrach, you said it was Colam? Was a guardian of the,
this is the DM.
Was a guardian of the forest.
Yes.
Write that shit down, Cop.
I am.
I did actually have that sheet ready. Yes, I was ready for Colam because I had that. Yes, because I was. Yeah,
I dug out some notes. I finally found the ones I was looking for last week.
I did find that. I did find Colam. I did find.
And I found Patrick too. Cream.
Okay, so let me roll this. No. Never heard of them. And
Shadrach says.
yes, tell me of this
Some of your
Colam.
librarian.
Why?
I'm going to give him some names to look up in your rather extensive histories.
Okay. Well, we can do that. We are
If you'll allow me myself, I would be most gracious.
we are entering into our meal time, and we do have schedules to keep. I'm not.
Of course.
I can't guarantee you that you will be able to speak to the librarian at this time. And then when I say librarian, I mean a different term that I had saved because I looked this shit up already. The question is, can I find it?
The charcuterie.
Oh. A charcuterie? What?
The décolletage. Abbot, we've also met some new friends. There's a barbarian named Boris who is in search of his sister. He has joined our cause. And Guy de Lance, as Shadrach mentioned, a knight of the realm, he says. I guess it's this realm. But he seems to be a very capable warrior as well, and he has joined our cause. And there is another elf named Prince Bartolanthus from Amalerath, I think he said?
The Emerald Forest.
Yes, from the Emerald Forest. He's a prince, though.
So he said.
I've never met a prince. He is wearing fancy clothes, and he has nice weaponry.
Yeah.
And he seems amicable enough, but I haven't really spoken with him at length.
And why do
You may wish to greet him and the other at least keep your eye out. You'll know when you see these people that they came in with us.
And his name was Prince what? Prince Amalerath?
Prince
Prince
Bartolanthus Amalerath
Huh.
from the Emerald Kingdom.
Forest.
The Emerald Forest Kingdom. It must be a kingdom of some sort, or he wouldn't be a prince. Because you have a king and a queen and a prince.
I suppose.
Well, there is a medieval a monastery librarian. So we got a librarian who manages the books, and then the sacrist who
That's the one.
is in charge of everything holy, including books and relics. So
Yeah, he's the holy keeper. Yeah.
He's the sacrist guy I know.
okay, so he says, so what well, if everybody's getting settled in and it appears that you were successful, then I guess
We don't know to what extent their army, Shadrach saw them firsthand. I've only been told of them because we were able to escape when the battle went on. I'm guessing it was Colam defending, and we also set the fort to blaze so that they could not reestablish their foothold there.
Yeah, but
Or in an attempt, anyway.
Abbot Patrick says, tell me more about Kolam.
I only saw an insect.
Kolam was the defender of the forest. It was this great creature, this insect, as he said, like a giant ant or something. But it was greatly feared, and a magical horn was blown to summon it. And that was the last sound we heard when we left the area, and the sound of a great battle. As I said, there were at least 400 or 500 Akaramans in the camp that I observed. I believe that they can move up and down the coast in that area at will. There's nothing stopping them. I saw nothing on the ocean, and I believe that they are operating from a small group of islands nearby.
Really?
Or at least using them as advanced bases from Akarama. But they're there, and they seem to be quite confident of themselves that they can build a fort.
All right.
The blend granted me a vision, Abbot. And I saw their leader, or someone that I think is their leader, and he was sitting on a thorny wooden throne that was jagged. He had human slaves all around him, and another henchman that was holding what appeared to be a huge sword, but it looked small in his hands. So he was of gigantic stature, I think, and very scarred, and he had pustules and swollen areas, and it was not a very attractive sight, if I may say so. And she kind of hangs her head.
And we were warned by Kolam, or something of that nature. The Akaramans worship a death cult.
And I think he said it was Stallman Clem that ran. Was he the one that he said he ran the place? Or was their leader of the cult? Or is that the island?
When I get to the library, I'm going to do some reading and see if I can find anything about that.
Okay.
Of course, we can call upon the Spirit for guidance, but I would also like to see what's written in the book.
Yes, of course.
And then, lastly, what of this elven prince that for some reason now travels with you? Something doesn't add up here.
He seems jovial enough and gets along with the people. He's never been aggressive toward any of the people that we freed or traveled with.
Was he part of the people you freed?
No. He showed up with Guy and Boris. They were together.
He seems to be aware of the slavers. He seems to be opposed to the slavers. And other than that, as Vanessa has said, he seems to be jovial. He's not necessarily open-mouthed, but I don't really perceive him as a threat. I see him as an asset. From what I understand, he tells a story that with a flick of his wrist, he destroyed a panther. So I haven't seen him do anything myself, but that gives me an indication of what he's capable of.
Well,
Boris mentioned a palace, so I don't know how long they've been traveling together.
I would appreciate it if, Vanessa, you could introduce me to this prince, and so I can at least assess, perhaps see if I can see any fault or any trickery. But
certainly.
If he is a true prince of the Emerald Kingdom, that would be quite the piece of luck, I would think, to have that. It is. There are legendary exploits of elves from the Northern Realms that have come down and participated in the affairs of men. So,
Well, he could be a powerful ally.
very good. Okay.
I would like to take a bath and get some clean clothes. She stands up and shakes some of the dust out of her robe, and it's been a long journey.
Sure,
Chad laughs.
absolutely.
Chad kind of smiles when he does that.
I can't guarantee that your old cubicle is still available, but I'm sure that someone would offer to host you, being
Is Jonesy still here? That was one of her friends from the kitchen that she worked with. I'm sure she'll share a room.
well, very good. I feel like it would be in all of our best interest to just kind of let everyone settle in for a night before any sort of formal introductions to me. So, why don't you all just go ahead and find a place to settle in. Shadrach, you're of course welcome to our groves if that's what calls to you.
Thank you.
And if not, then you're welcome inside. I guess I shouldn't assume, do these people, the slaves that were freed, do they have anything to speak of as far as possessions, or just the clothes on their backs, or?
Only that, the clothes on their back. They were brutalized and traumatized, some very injured, some burned. It was a ghastly situation, what I came into as they were coming off the ship.
Well, I will, with this many people, I will ask for the prior to, I don't even know what the word would be, to rescind the protective aspects of the temple and the infirmary. They will remain up in like the guards' quarters, and
as I said, I don't know what remains of the Acaraman army, but they could show up here. So if there's any protocol or security type alert, I would suggest that we at least be on 24-hour guard.
I will make the captain of the guard aware of that, and perhaps we'll double the guards, and we'll also send a notice to the sheriff making him aware. So as far as I'm concerned, unless there's something else you think I need to know, I will call for a generalized walkthrough of the people tomorrow. Probably in the temple. We'll have them all in there so I can address everyone without any kind of outside interference.
I'll be right back.
So, anyway, thank you for, once again, I'm sure these people are in your debt, and I'm very grateful to have you performing the service that you do to our Abbot, or to our Abbey, and to our Republic at large. So, thank you.
Thank you. It was, I'm glad that you responded when I reached out in my dreams to contact you.
He says, what?
Remember the conversation we had? I sent you a message that we were in danger and needed help, and that people were
that was you?
people were hurt. Yes.
I thought that was a message from something out of the blend.
I reached out.
He says,
in prayer.
I'm not disappointed. I admit I thought it came from somewhere else. And I thought that the image of you was what the blend found most easy to take or appeasing or whatever the term would be.
I understand, but I'm finding a deeper connection with the blend, and it's the natural powers and the cosmic omnipotent benevolence that grants the magics to flow through me. And it feels good to serve the blend.
Well, that makes my heart glad that you have been gaining in power equivalent to your faith. He says, may the blend continue to infiltrate your life, to guide you, and that if you need it, you are deemed worthy to transfer the manna from the heavens to yourself and then to what you wish to accomplish. That is wonderful. And
thank you very much, Abbot. May the Grand Physician guide your hand and lend his wisdom in all your decisions. And she curtsies.
He just nods and kind of looks at the door.
And there she goes.
Okay. And Shadrach, you follow out?
Yes, I'll thank him for hearing us out, and also thank him in advance for letting me use the library, and they can find me in the grove. If you don't see me, just call my name.
I'll materialize.
Okay, so you guys exit, and then where do you go, if anywhere?
Vanessa takes Shadrach's hand and says, will I see you for dinner?
I'll be out in the grove.
Shall I bring you something?
That's all right. Thank you.
All right. And she walks away toward the rooms, and she says, I'm going to get cleaned up. And she walks away. And I will excuse myself.
And Shadrach, where do you go?
I was going to say you should have made a perception check when you looked at Chad, but that's okay.
Where
So Vanessa should, when she comes back, she should make a perception check.
All right.
Chad is even more uncomfortable now in the monastery than he was before because he's getting wilder. He's becoming more attuned to the wild. And so that's when they offered him water, and she was like, it's holy water. And he was like, I know. It made him uncomfortable.
All right, so Bart, having said that you didn't require anything special, you are shown to a small cubicle, and it's got with like two other people that you recognize as ex-slaves, but nobody that you had any deep, meaningful conversations with, and they kind of divvy up the space in the room, and it's kind of like there's two cots and then the floor, and one of them's like, well, my lord, I'm sure that if you put the two cots together, you would be somewhat comfortable, and we're used to sleeping on the floor. All we need is some blankets.
I only need one cot. Not that big.
Well, one of the slaves, a shorter, like 20-something female who's got like a scar across her face, maybe perhaps at one time she might have been considered to be a pretty young gal, but she's been in a bad situation and kind of had some things happen to her that perhaps are better left to the imagination. But she says, I noticed that sometimes on the journey you would leave and then there would be, I would go for a walk just to see where you went, and I saw this big, I don't know, house. Was that yours?
Yeah. That's mine.
She says, you could get, you're being a bitch. She says, is that the kind of place that a prince of the Emerald Kingdom stays on journeys? Is that why no one ever sees you?
Sure, I'd stay on journeys, right?
I mean, I'm not complaining that you're here. I just am curious, why aren't you making your house again and then staying in someplace nice instead of here? I mean, it's better than the woods, I'll admit, but someone like you, or are you just kind of seeing what's in here and then you'll go later? I'm not trying to kick you out of the room.
No, I'm just trying to see, trying to get to know some of the people.
Oh, well,
from the area.
My name's Kima, and this is Tondor. We're not related or anything, but we kind of become friends over the ordeal. And Tondor's like, yeah, we, there's not a lot of, there wasn't a lot of time to just get to know one another while we were in the cages, so.
Imagine it wasn't.
Kima seems nice, and she's like, yeah, Tondor's nice. So what do you think will happen next?
I'm not sure.
And Tondor's like, so if you really are an elven prince, what are you doing away from court?
Nah, court's not a place for me.
Did you do something?
No. I just don't get along with my brother-in-law.
That's it? And that would keep you away from court? Who's your brother-in-law?
The king.
Tondor's like, really? You're related to the Elven King of the North?
Yeah.
And you've seen the Emerald Throne?
Well, yeah.
Is it true that it's made out of an emerald?
Sure.
No,
yeah.
It's not.
I know.
It's carved out of the wood.
Oh, it's carved out of wood. It's still, yeah, sure.
Wow. You hear that, Tondor? He actually has been at the court of the Emerald King. And Tondor says, well, I don't really know what to say other than your Highness, and he kind of looks away. You can tell that these kids, these 20-somethings, seem very unused to being around nobility, at the very least, much less one of a different kingdom and a different species. They're like stumbling and fumbling for things to say and kind of looking at each other.
I'm enjoying watching Buggy stumble out on their words and stuff.
So Tondor says, so When was the last time you were home?
Three weeks, 4 weeks.
Not that long. I heard a story of an elf that left home and didn't go back for 1,000 years. Is that true?
Ah, crap.
Is that true?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Got a phone call.
Oh, okay. All right, so,
What time of day is it?
well, the sun is going down. It's not set,
Meal
though.
time.
So it's like, yeah, mealtime for these monks who seem to eat later in the day with the soup than regular people not in the monastery. They seem to eat later for some reason. That's something that Guy would notice right away.
The monks eat earlier than everybody else, is what you're saying.
No, these particular monks, everyone else, they have like the main meal of the day, and then they'll have soup, which apparently is where the term supper comes from. So dinner's like the noon meal. That's after everyone's done in the fields or whatever, and they've had time to cook. Then they have their main meal, and then later on in the day they have the leftovers or the soup or the pottage or shit like that. And the monks, they have a main meal of normally fish or pork or something with vegetables, but then they'll have a soup later in the day as well. So as Guy and everyone else has been put in a place where they can kind of get settled in, they're all eventually rounded up by these shuffling monks in their homespun brown robes and their foot wrappings. And most of them, not all, but most of them that you're interacting with at this time, they all are, I think it's called censured, or tonsured, where they have the top of their head shaved. And they don't speak. And so some people will try to speak to them, and they'll just be like, with hand motions and whatever. So, and the same thing goes for Prince B, as these guys are trying to make small talk. Eventually these cloistered monks all come around and they gesture for you to come outside, and they escort you to the main hall, which is somewhat set off the kitchen. And I have I know, Brad, you haven't ever seen this, but if I put this down on the table, let me see if I can get that to where you can see the map. So hold on here. So let's switch. And then
Oh yeah, Vanessa, make a perception check.
Nope, can't see it. There it goes.
all right, so I'm going to just point out, so
17.
this is the kind of like the infirmary. You guys, when I said you guys walked around to talk to Abbot Patrick, that's this building back here. And then back here that I didn't draw in, there's the guards' quarters, and then there's other housing back here. And it's kind of like two-story. And that's where they put like travelers and people just needing to stay the night or whatever. And then this is a courtyard that that some of you have seen and some haven't. Here's the dining hall and the kitchen. So everybody's kind of hustled into this dining hall, and you're all sitting on these benches, kind of crammed in there, and there's some small talk being made by the people, but not the monks. They're quiet, and then they have some serving monks come around and put a bowl in front of each of you with a wooden spoon, and then someone comes around and with a bucket, and they scoop out, ladle out some stuff and put it in the bowl. And some people,
Remember, Shad's not there. Porridge.
some people kind of start to eat a little quickly, and they're told, "Hey, just wait." And then everyone gets served. So the grove, this says to grove and pasture, so that's Shadrach's up here. And unless someone does not want to get the food, this is where they would be in the dining hall. So Shadrach has said that he's up in the grove.
Yeah, so he's noticeably absent.
But
If Vanessa had time to get cleaned up already, then she will be there. If not, she's off doing that.
okay, I would say, I mean, unfortunately, it's not like a bath is a thing that can be heated up and
Right,
on
it's just
demand.
water and a cloth, and she's getting cleaned up with clean clothes.
Okay, so that's
cold water.
that's not an issue.
Brush her
So-
hair, brushes her hair out, gets the knots out of it,
So the unless you all specifically want to sit by someone else, everyone is kind of just randomly placed. No one seems to be given like a place of honor or anything like that. It's just sort of random. So does anyone necessarily want to try to sit by anyone else?
What's it, my guy?
Okay. So there's Prince B, and here is Guy right there.
Gee.
Got ye?
All right. So, as after the everyone's bowl is filled, Kettle Tom stands up and he kind of bangs on the table. And now that you've kind of and Brad over here, this is like a crafting area. So there's like all these people that make things, and that's what this building is over here. It's like a huge open barn sort of thing with a cover, and some people live in here and some don't. You're not exact. Nobody knows. I mean, if you lived in this abbey, you would know who was here and who wasn't. But this is like, and it's a kind of a smelly area because that's where they're making leathers and pulling those skins off and all kinds of stuff.
Not kidding.
But anyway,
So Vanessa will try to speak. Oh, you were doing Kettle Tom. Sorry.
yes. So unless Vanessa wanted to say something, in which case Kettle Tom will defer.
Well, just at dinner for dinner conversation. So go ahead.
So
with what you're
before
doing.
that, Kettle Tom stands up and he hits on the table with his wooden mug. Attention everyone, normally the monks that served you do not speak. This is part of their training and their pious nature and their deference to that provides the blend and all it entails. I have asked and been granted a time from the cellarer, from the kitchener, that the monks will serve and then they will eat after everyone here is finished. So while you're here, you may go ahead and have whatever kind of conversations you like. Obviously, just make sure you're respectful of this holy place and of everything that they give you. And understand that they give this to you not because they're forced to, but because they want to. And that this is all brought about because the blend takes in all travelers, all people, all creatures, if they be civil. So anyway, that's all.
Blessed is the blend.
And you hear a few people, blessed is the blend. And then everybody just kind of starts eating, and then there's like a low conversation sound. So Vanessa may proceed with her scene.
So, Bartolanthus, what brings you to our area? It seems a boon from the blend, perhaps, that you've joined our cause.
We heard of the slavers up in Emerald, and I just came to see if there's anything I could do to help.
Oh, there certainly is. They're horrible. You should have seen the destruction at the fort before you arrived.
See the destruction after I arrived.
Well, yeah, it's been leveled, I hope. Just so you know, Brad, Vanessa is about 7.5 feet tall, and she is a priestess of the blend. She's got a greenish-brown hue to her skin, and big horse teeth, like a big... She's a half ogre.
Gerald, do you have the...
Yeah, I do. Here we go. There's Vanessa.
There's a picture I did for you that's on there. It should be on the site or on your messenger there.
Yeah, it's on there. I can send that in a little bit, but anyway, just so you got an idea of who you're talking to.
Brad, have you seen all of the drawings that we have to offer for these characters?
No. Not yet.
Let me see if I can forward them to this here. All right, what do I want to do?
Some of them are on people's individual messengers, and some are on the Jib Jab site. So they're spread out, the ones that I've done.
Let's see if I can find the feed.
If you just go to Messenger, you can hit like
Yeah, there it is.
You can hit media and photos.
I'm looking for people here. Come on. I don't know how long this keeps it before it starts deleting shit. So.
Right.
There's stuff there from when we first started playing. So some of my first drawings are on there.
So
yeah, I'm scrolling back.
Here's one from that Jason drew. Brad, I don't know if you could see it. Well, let's just do that.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
Oh, I could just send it to Brad, couldn't I? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just sent Vanessa to the Jib Jabs. The one that Jason drew.
The one where she's like gold?
Yeah, she's got a yellowish gown with her, and her hair's all crazy braided.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's got her pretty long stocking hair, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes at this point, she's just wearing it straight down. She brushed it out. Sometimes it's braided, sometimes it's pigtails, the standard.
Physically, she's repulsive to most people.
Overall.
But she has a beautiful personality. That's what Shad is.
Something's a little intimidating.
Shad is not intimidated by her in any way, shape, or form.
I don't tend to be intimidated by too many, so.
Not that one. Here.
Shad sees her inner light.
I talked to a dragon, so.
Yeah. She's not scary. She's just ugly. She's just ugly. She's not scary.
At first appearance, she's quite startling, yeah.
Well, we've been traveling together for weeks, so I'm sure I'm well over that.
There's Shadrach.
Right.
So I'm looking for a
Plus,
picture.
our magic is very similar. We feel very similarly about helping people and things like that.
But she's a cleric?
The natural way.
Shad is a nice, basically a gentle, peaceful person who likes to help people. Things have changed his mindset, but he still ultimately wanted to help people. So.
Shadrach.
Shadrach?
He became the crow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You would have probably seen him.
I hear a crash from downstairs. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hey, you got my picture done yet?
Yeah, you're gonna get it now. I'm gonna be mean to you, not draw it and make it play some more.
Hold out on him.
So yeah, I should have something by next week.
Okay.
Promise.
I can't find Boris on my thread, but
I've got Boris here, and I actually have the piece of paper.
oh, there you go.
That Shad. Hang on.
Oh, Cobb just sent it. Boris is in there. You got Boris, Guy, and Shad all in that last thing.
Yeah, you notice that Shad is not a cleric in the sense that Vanessa is a cleric. Shad is clearly some kind of druid. If you would know what a druid is.
Yeah.
He's clearly a druid of some kind. So, because he carries weapons, he talks to animals. Yeah, he produces good berries all the time for people to eat.
Some kind of Aslorian.
And that's basically all he eats anymore is good berries. So Vanessa doesn't get that yet. I was going to say he's becoming wilder because of his able to shapeshift now. He feels kind of different now and wilder than he did. Well, plus he has more. The spells he can cast now are really crazy spells. So he's in kind of like a weird mindset right now.
We haven't seen half of what Bart can do.
What's her name again?
No, I know that. Well, yeah, he's got an
I'm just telling you well for a reason.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa?
Yeah.
Vanessa, yeah.
Yeah.
Like finesse, but with an A.
He saw Bart point his finger at a panther and destroy it with a machine gun.
Yes, Guy and Boris have seen stuff, but the others haven't really.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't, unless you had done your palace during our trip. But if that was the case, everybody'd be wanting to come in. He's like, no.
Yeah, no.
We're not doing that.
Like low key right now.
I don't think Shad would have gone in your palace. I'm not sure about that.
Well, probably
Shad
not.
would probably felt confined in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's this weird magical palace. Well, I got a thing about elves right now, but you don't really know about that.
Everybody's got to think about elves.
I know. See, Vanessa, you would have been looking to see that my eyes were green, like solid green.
Oh. I knew there was something there, but
I still want to go in there and read the book. I'm not afraid of the place, but I don't want to rely upon it. That's his thing.
yeah. Even though we share some of the same spells, you draw your power from a whole different place than she gets hers.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. See, now we got 3 pretty capable spellcasters, and we've got some warriors. We had some fucked up stuff going on before, Brad. We lost different players, and we were down to just me and Jason. And we were down to 3, and we were all playing 2 characters each, so we had enough characters to get shit done, you know?
Right.
But then Randy passed away, and that kind of put the brakes on shit.
And then Sean. Yeah, the Sean bit. So you missed that, Brad.
Oh, you didn't miss nothing. You've seen it all before.
Sean,
Same shit, man.
Sean,
Shit, you know. Yeah, he was getting all Seaned. Yeah, really.
Familiar to Sean's character.
That's why I always blew Sean up. I just like to hear him whine. I love to hear him whine.
Well, I remember that. Yeah, you remember that one time, me, you, and Kenny.
Wham!
Yeah, 3 lightning bolts. Boom!
What is that? Time casting you? What is you charging? Okay. Still
You
casting?
said duck, he didn't duck. He said get out of the way, he didn't get out of the way. He gave him a warning.
I don't get it.
Then we carried his remains around in a bag. I remember that.
in the guise of taking them to the rightful place or whatever.
Oh, we were going to get him resurrected somewhere. We just had to...
We didn't know where yet.
I remember we did that with Bart one time. We had to drag your dead body out of a dungeon.
I carried a gem around.
We dragged you... I remember there was this scene where we were dragging you up the stairs, making sure your head hit every step.
What is
we made sure that we painfully dragged your dead body up the stairs.
What I do to gas fire anyway, other than trying to tell you not to put his head in there.
I don't... That was you, and you were there when we all got killed by the green slime thanks to Percival.
Yeah.
Remember, we were trying to solve that puzzle, and he got all frustrated and just stuck his sword in it or some shit. We were like, no! I'd already lost my hand. Yeah, that was Yep, that was the first, and we still had a chance to get it right, and you were about to do it.
Yeah.
You were about to do it. And that's when he was like, nope! No! So the 3 most powerful characters in the group basically died. So,
good times.
yeah, getting killed by green slime and that was even better. Yeah.
Getting killed by Percival. Jim.
Yeah. We don't do that kind of thing anymore, but yeah, the Sean thing was that was metagaming. That was different. That was in-game really. No, he overdid it. Yeah.
He did. Yeah, it's Sean.
Right.
Everything had been fine up to then. Everything had been rolled just like smooth as silk, right up to that point.
I miss Brewman. Oh.
All right. Any other dinner conversation I need to be aware of?
We're standing with a broom. Oh.
He wants to talk to Paco and basically saying, Paco, you've been with me through this wild adventure. You're free to go. I release you from your bond.
Thanks for all your help, Paco.
Yes, Paco becomes an NPC because I release him from his bond to me.
Okay.
I don't know where to go.
It's possible.
Roll a charisma check for me, Gee.
Oh. 19. Ooh.
19, huh?
Total.
So he said he seems confused, and he's like, Did I displease you, my lord?
No, you served me well, and you're a free man, and you're free to choose your fate. You don't need to serve me anymore, if you choose not to. If you wish to stay with me, then I'd be more than happy to retain your service.
Well, then,
You have not displeased me in any way.
for me to become a knight, I must complete my squire training. And you if I leave you now, I will not be done, or you must report back to our Lord about my abilities and my loyalty.
I see now I underestimated you, Paco. Yes, you will stay with me then. That's exactly what you shall do. I was testing you, you see.
Roll another charisma check with disadvantage, please.
Oh! There's an 11, so that would be a 26, and a 21.
He says, "Oh, I'm glad I passed your test then." And then I need you to make a perception check.
Ryan. That's not too bad. A 29.
That's on a D30 plus your intelligence?
Yeah. 19 plus 10.
Okay. All right, so
But I'm not brilliant.
the rest of the dinner then, our supper apparently goes uneventful, and then the sun is setting and everyone is being sort of escorted out, and you can either go back and rest up and do the maintenance jam and stuff, or you can go do something else. The rest of the night is yours. So I'll start with Prince B. Is there anything that you would like to accomplish before you allow the revelry to take hold?
No, I haven't changed the spell, so I will just go rest.
Okay. How about Vanessa? Anything for her?
She will walk out to the grove and see if she sees Shadrach.
Okay. Anything for Guy?
He goes to bed
Okay.
and tells Paco to get the bed ready.
He just does his work. And, okay, so with that being the case, we will shift over to Vanessa, walking through the grove by herself as the sun is setting over the edge of the horizon. The sky is partly cloudy, making some interesting colors as the sun sets, orange and purple. And unless Shadrach is attempting to hide himself from prying eyes or anyone, Vanessa, you see Shadrach in the
Did you
grove.
say the words?
Huh?
Are there apple trees here?
Yes?
Okay, well, I'll be sitting up in an apple tree, but I'm not hiding.
Oh, there you are. I didn't see you at first. Aren't you hungry?
I've eaten already, thank you. I'm eating an apple.
Ah, very good. It's a beautiful sunset.
Yes. That's why I was sitting up in the tree to get a slightly better view.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you were okay and say goodnight.
Good night, Vanessa.
And she just casually turns and enjoying the fresh air and the being back at the monastery. She enjoys her walk back to her room and gets a good night's sleep.
The only impression that I can say that is out of the ordinary is as Vanessa walks away, Shad, you notice that her footsteps are much heavier than most anyone else you've traveled with. It's kind of like there's just a tiny extra thud. She's not quiet. She's not necessarily trying to be loud or quiet. It's just a natural thumping of someone who's heavy and large.
Not very graceful.
Okay, I get it. Yep. Chad perceives all of that.
Sounds like a Sasquatch walking through the woods.
Yeah. Except you can hear her.
All right. So, everyone turns in and you're about as comfortable as you can be under these circumstances. And
For
now,
part of the night, Shad sits up in the tree as an owl and just kind of looks around.
I would like Shadrach to roll a D30, please.
I was seeing if I can see
No.
it yet.
I didn't see you there until you tapped on the window.
I know. Hi.
23.
Oh, 10 cents off.
Good. Caden, do you
Is that
recognize
Caden?
any of those people?
I recognize them all now.
You
I've
do?
seen them enough.
Well, I'm sure you remember Daryl,
I know Daryl.
but who's the guy on the top right?
Well, see, I just know I remember their faces. I don't remember their names.
Well, that's Jason.
Hello, Jason.
And then the guy on the bottom, that's Brad.
Hello, Brad.
Hello.
That is my oldest boy, Caden, and he is here for the winter break. So,
Someone put a washer in the corner.
Wow.
Jeez.
oh, I'm sure pennies, whatever. That's what I'm cooking, so I'll call you when it's finished if you want to go relax.
What is it?
It's some kind of cheeseburger thing that I've never had, so
Alright.
we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah,
Everything else
This
okay?
is the Hall of Legends right here, Tom.
Did you get
Should have
next
been
week's
used
schedule?
to that.
No, but I do know when I go back to school now.
When do you go back to school? When do you drive back down?
January 18th is when we need to be back.
18th. Wow. So you got like an extra 2 weeks.
Yeah. So that's...
No wonder this country's going to shit. They don't make their college kids go back to school for a month.
That doesn't seem very long to me. It's only a couple weeks from now.
That's what she said. Oh,
I do.
I
I thought you were supposed to use the fantasy version. 'Tis what she proclaims.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's right. 'Tis what she proclaimed. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Why is he playing the
So
drums?
I don't have next week's schedule.
Okay. Well, then I'll get it for you on Friday.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing you're not working the rest of the week.
Not that I know of. You're the one who gave my schedule. You're working now and then.
All right.
Boy, kill something.
Tomorrow I think you're going to get your present.
I'm going to cast a spell on something, damn it.
See, that's what you say, but it's nice to get it.
I'm good with you eating here. That's all I need.
Maybe 500
Now, if you want
activations will
to,
attack them on
obviously,
Oh
it's appreciated. I'm just saying you don't.
I don't know what I get you.
And don't
That'd
make
be
it
a battle.
expensive. Make something small.
no. Yes, it
Yeah,
would.
that's what I wanted to do.
Against a bunch of civilians.
So I'll just get him something like under $5 at a game store. Something
I
you can
think
use, like
me-
instant dice.
Me, you, and Brad, we
Because
can...
as the saying goes, you
put up
never
a
need
pretty
enough.
nasty
You
fight.
never have enough.
Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting
Except-
quick and quick power.
Brad, you
I'm not combat.
That,
Hamburger and meatballs.
That's cool.
So it's
Oh,
supposed
Is
to
that one you made?
So anyway, we'll both try it together.
Is that one you made?
No. I'm not that good yet.
yeah, me and Brad turned into flying men and destroyed an army of bugbears with lightning bolts and fireballs. Because they couldn't shoot us. Because we were airborne and we had more range on the spells.
Yeah. That's fun. Vanessa is not combat
It's weird how
at all,
miles-
but she can protect and defend.
Oh, yeah.
She can't attack.
Your defensive powers are very, yeah. Well, like with Gaspar, I did a lot of shit with the wall of force.
So-
You do a lot of shit with the wall of
How
force.
about if
Yeah.
I wash the shirt now?
You can't do a lot of shit
That's
with
a
a
powerful
lot.
spell.
Pants,
And that's
too.
purely defensive.
Well, the pants wouldn't be that big a deal because you got. I'm assuming you got.
You can pin somebody up against the wall with a wall of force. You can cover them in a dome
Go ahead and give me
with a wall of force. Yes, you can do all of that.
Maybe I'll learn that one of these
There's a lot of
days.
power to butt one down. It's really everything short of like. I think the only thing that knocked the wall of force down is like dispel magic or some shit like that,
Cool.
or disintegrate or something stupid. I mean, I can't cast that now. The best, one of my best defensive spells now is water wall, which is really neat. So,
All
and
righty.
swirling skies. Look out for that one.
As the morning approaches, the sound of the rooster crowing is nature's alarm clock, and looks like an arrowhead.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's
a nice one.
partial spear tip. Broke right there.
That would fuck you up.
Yeah, well,
That's a gut wrencher there.
there's a real arrowhead.
That's nice. I got some in my drawer. I'll show them one of these days.
That's the kind Boris has.
I got a big ass meteorite right here somewhere. That's upstairs in my bedroom. 2-pound
Daryl,
meteorite.
Did you ever play with Clark, who was playing a dwarf?
Yeah.
He
I
said,
wonder what he's up to.
He said Zoom Skell, so I'm like, hi Clark.
Yeah, he played a psionicist for a short time, and then he switched to dwarf.
Yeah.
So my brother.
He's a Festus guy.
Who is this?
Why?
A guy named Clark that would play before COVID in the before times, but
Yeah. It's been several years since he played.
but he's still around, I see.
That's cool.
So the day is yours to do with as you will. So if you all would, as you're roused, or as you're not roused, you are just awakened by the sounds of people walking past your cubicles and things being done. At some point, you all sort of hear other people milling about, and you look out of your rooms, and there's everybody kind of there gathering. And so you have the day to do whatever you want to do. So I can ask each of you individually what you want to do, or you can tell me that you all meet up somewhere. What would you like to do?
I think a meetup is in order. Get everybody together and see what kind of plan we can make to get to the Southern Isles.
I was going to say, come dawn, Shad will be outside the monastery, sitting on a step.
Yeah.
Vanessa's clothes are clean, and she's wearing her scarf that's got the emblem of the blend on both sides.
Shad looks like he's, he looks perfectly clean, and everything on his clothes look nice.
Boris is wearing his loincloth as usual.
I put my robes on. I don't put it on my hood.
He's well dressed.
All right, so just to move things along, Kettle Tom will come to each of you and ask you to come out into the courtyard.
I do.
Ow. I got it, Courtney.
Is there anybody that does not come out to the courtyard?
Nope.
All right. So you're all there, and Kettle Tom says, thank you all for coming out here on this brisk morning.
Made you coleslaw.
But I feel like this might be the best place for us to kind of see what we want to do next. in case it isn't clear, I'm all in on destroying these slavers wherever they are.
Where'd you want these again?
Hell yeah.
You can throw them downstairs.
While I cannot take part in that activity, I can heal and mend and protect you all with the blessings of the blend, and I'm happy to have everyone's help who's gathered here today. Boris said, I'm going to find my sister.
He says, yes, we're going to find your sister.
Go find your sister.
Shad would say, I need access to the library today, and I was hoping that that could be arranged.
Well, did you bring that up with Abbot Patrick yesterday, or?
Yes.
Well, then you've talked to the chief cook and bottle washer, my friend, so if it's going to happen, I'm sure he'll send someone to find you if you're available to be found.
I hope so.
You might need to make yourself more available, or at least be willing to say, I'm here at a certain place.
I see.
That's kind of the way it works.
Library?
So Prince B,
Yes.
do you have any thoughts on how to destroy slavers?
Large amounts of flaming lightning?
And is that something you have access?
Oh, yeah.
Did you say flaming lady?
Flame and lightning.
Ah,
Fire and lightning always works.
Shad would say, yes, lightning.
it's been effective so far.
Yeah, Brad, you didn't. I did call lightning on the fortress and destroyed all the ballistas and set the ship on fire and set part of the fort on fire, and yeah, so
It's
Shad
fun,
is
isn't
known
it?
for calling down the lightning. Yeah. So Shad is able to call down the lightning should that become
Oh,
necessary.
that's excellent.
I can also do fire, and I'm slightly immune to both, so that helps.
Huh?
Here's the food.
Well, thing is, we go in first and have the others mop up or what?
Shad says we have to find them first.
That won't be too hard either. We can rotate the location.
Vanessa speaks up and says, I hear and I have had visions that they are giants. Do you know of any weakness, special weakness that they might have?
No, but we can research it. Find out.
I agree, and I think that I should call upon the Great Wild to send me a vision to see if I can learn anything more from what I have gathered so far.
Kettle
Yeah,
Tom,
I'll dig into my books and see if I can divine something myself.
Kettle Tom says yes. If you have any way, any foresight, that would most assuredly could only help. For instance, although I have not myself been to those southern islands, I know Abbot Patrick has. So I'm going to ask him for, a map or something to those effects.
That wall you guys spoke of, that you're talking about on that one island, how far did it expand? How far did it reach?
Oh, it was
Giant size?
it was pretty long, about like that. It was probably that bigger than I can reach.
You expand the whole entire island?
No.
No, it was like part of a structure, but it was just in the middle of nowhere.
Shut up!
Nobody on the island knew about it, or there would have been more people walking around.
Did the board go from normal size to giant size, or from giant size to normal size?
It made me a giant. I was 20 feet tall. And I still wasn't. The wall was still longer than I was tall.
I was just wondering, we're farther reaching than that, and that's why we're getting giants.
I think these creatures are naturally giant.
Yeah.
I don't think they're magical. I think they're born that way, but that's just my opinion.
I would agree, says Vanessa.
They're also part of a death cult, which makes them even more dangerous.
Kettle Tom, do you know anything about this Stallman Clem? Have you heard of him before?
No, I'm sorry, I have not.
I need to get to the library here and research some of these names, see if there's anything to be found. But I also need to call upon the heart of the forest to send me visions, true visions. What the hell kind of spell is that?
Maybe we can all go to the library. Well, I mean, those of us that can make use of it.
Yes, cool. Yeah, let's all go to the library. Let's all go to the library.
And have ourselves a read.
Oh, there
I've
I
library years.
You probably have one in your bag.
What? Oh, I do have a library in my bag.
Yeah. Wow, tree nap. What a weird spell.
That's a good one.
Adjacent, not touching. Rotate objects.
I got this at third. I got some kind of commune with nature that's going on here somewhere.
Are Covidius and Pick present at our gathering?
They are.
And Vanessa will ask Covidius if he has any knowledge of a giant's weakness. You are a well-rounded warrior who's been known to find victory.
I never fought any giants in the arenas. I fought some big things. I mean, how tall are we talking here?
Taller than me. Boris said that he became gigantic and he was 3 times taller than me.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Taller than most trees.
I mean, I think if I can stab it, I can kill it, but until I see one.
I thought perhaps you had some insight.
No, if I did, I would certainly tell you. And Pick's like, I've never seen a giant.
Nor have I. Shad's never seen a giant before.
Yeah.
But this would be part of the game where magic can create victory from defeat.
Yep.
I agree. That's why we're all getting quiet. We're looking up spells. What can I do there?
I'm pouring through my spell list now.
I can appreciate that.
Looking for anything that might come in handy. But we need to secure transport, first and foremost, a ship that we can rely on to get us to these islands and back, and a crew. So that's going to cost money, or I don't know. I've never tried to hire a ship.
We've got plenty of crew members here.
Well, we got plenty of crew members, but we don't have any money. He says, yes, money would get us
some of the people that we freed, see if they want to go with us, fucking run a ship.
Well, many of them are peasants, and they've been through a great ordeal, and they're looking forward to getting home to their loved ones.
But there may be some of them that would want to fucking go with us to run a ship.
You are certainly right about that.
I think
many.
We don't have the volunteer status, but I mean, we could use some of them for.
Do you know of anyone with a ship?
No, but I'm sure we could come up with one pretty quick.
Chad smiles. You haven't seen him smile in a long time. He's like, here we go again. We have no money.
Don't need money. Got magic.
To make a ship? These people can't fly? Are we going to walk back? I think at least we should find out what happened to that army. I think we should find out what happened to that army. And we also need to send messengers. All of you, and he'll look at Guy and say, aren't you supposed to be sending messengers to your people to let them know what's going on? He's looking at everybody. Aren't we supposed to be warning someone? Is it just us? This is
I've told the Abbot of our plight, and he is the man in charge of community communications in the area. Maybe he can get word to people. And as some of these people get home, head to their homes and find a way back, they can spread the word.
And Chad will say, that's good. And he says, because I have no one to warn. You've seen that my people know what's going on up there. And they have dealt with them. The protector of the forest has dealt with them. I have no one to warn, and I'm helping all of you. So you need to warn your people, or we're in trouble. Or these people are in trouble, or these Acaranians are going to keep coming. Because this is just going to be a bloody nose to them. They'll be back probably with more people.
They should have gone to the fucking coast.
If we can destroy the people that are buying the slaves, the market, then maybe they'll go elsewhere.
The market? Where is this market?
Exactly.
I think that's a rather broad statement compared to actually destroying people who are invading.
Yeah, that's right.
The slavers, the giants, they're the ones that are giving the Acaramans money for the slaves, is what I'm trying to say. So if we can destroy these people that are buying the slaves and creating the desire, creating the profitability, then perhaps they'll move on. I don't think we can go across the ocean to their country and stop what they do, but if we can get them to leave us alone, that's enough for me and the blend.
I agree that we need to find this person, this thing you saw in your vision, and that seems to be the if we destroy this creature, then that might be a long stride towards ultimately.
I prayed for the vision of the worst enemy, the biggest threat, and that is the person it showed me, surrounded by a sea of slaves. So I feel that that's where we need to head.
You must concentrate on this vision and seek even more detail, such as a name and details of where they may be found. That way we can get to them so much faster. I feel that if we stumble around the countryside, we're not going to achieve much.
I agree with that. Stumbling around the countryside is not the way to go.
So Kettle Tom says, what I'm hearing from you learned people is that perhaps several days or more should be taken in research, spell casting, and perhaps Abbot Patrick will have more to say about his previous adventures over that time.
I'm sure he can offer something.
So I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not in charge, but how about you all that are touched and or able to cast the arcane, go and do your research, and then maybe every morning like today we should hold a council and give any updates on any new information.
That is a fantastic idea.
I also, though I don't have access to the spells of someone like Vanessa, I may be able to get a hold of some contacts that I have made over the years and see what that yields. That might be the best thing for me to do. What about you, Covidius and Pick? And Pick's like, I think for me personally, that's the only avenue I have, would be to go back to town, and I know that I might not necessarily be wanted there, but I'm willing to risk going to town to try to talk to people. Covidius says, and I'd kind of like to see if I can find out what happened. I don't know. I was told that perhaps Rise was taken or whatever, is now a slave, and I'd like to go back to where he was and look around for clues there.
Well, Vanessa says, would you consider speaking to the people that had come with us to see if any of them have battle skills or could form, as Bart mentioned, maybe we could get some volunteers. You're the only soldier we have. If you could maybe round up some guys and give them some training before you go.
In perfect Sean speak, says, they'd be slaughtered. They're no use. If we want to send them out there to be fodder and get slaughtered so they can take a couple hits for us, sure, but that's the only good thing they're going to be good for. So if you're good with that, then, I'm good with it, but I'm not really good with it because they're just going to go and get slaughtered. They don't have the toughness. They don't have the abilities. They're just a bunch of peasants and farmers and woodworkers. So
you make a good point, and that is why I hoped that you would be able to show them something, but you're probably right. And I don't want to risk the lives of innocent people.
If we're going to take on giants, we got to be able to take a hit. I mean, somebody like you, Prince B, I don't know how tough you are, but you know, I got called out for telling Shadrach that he shouldn't be in the front line. So, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do anymore. But I don't see why you would want to needlessly get hurt fighting up front if you're not an up front fighter. It doesn't make any sense. Like I can see the knight there wanting to fight up front because he's trained for it.
Right.
Well, then, I wish you luck.
I didn't say he's going to fight up front.
It's a shame Reggie left. At least, he was halfway decent. But even him against the Giant, I mean, we're gonna have to sneak in and take them out one by one, and it's just no army. I mean, if a giant is what I think it is, maybe an army of trained Achaemenians could take on a bunch of giants, but I don't see anybody on this continent being like that.
Well, you might be right. Maybe stealth is going to be our ally. But if these gentlemen start using their powerful magical abilities, sometimes that can give stealth away. But I'm not trying to change your mind. You do what you feel is right. If stealth is going to be our game, then perhaps you would be someone of your size against giants. I mean, sometimes I barely see you there.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I try not to go up front and fight hand to hand. That's why I use my bow. But it seems like every time I get attacked, I get knocked down immediately. So, if the spellcasters can cast something on me to make me tougher, then I'll go up front.
I can show people how to use a spear.
Yeah, but they don't have. They don't have the
It's easy
experience.
enough to show someone how to use a spear. We could do that. Training peasants is part of what I do. These so-called useless people. No, they have plenty of use. Believe me, they have plenty of use.
Everywhere you start somewhere.
That's true.
So, I mean, what is your plan? Let's say you do train them to use a spear. Then what?
I was just talking about the crew of ships where you had transport.
No, COVID is speaking to Guy. So you train them how to use a spear, and then what? You're going to send them in with spears? Or are they going to be behind us? I mean, what good are they?
What good are they? Well, I can see them guarding our possessions while we go out and do the dirty work. I'm not saying that we throw them at them like a pebble, but these people would certainly be a little better off if they could defend themselves instead of huddling behind a tree or in a ditch. They might even feel confident enough to fight for themselves.
Forward, Potter.
They wouldn't be so easily made as slaves next time, would they?
No, they would not.
Well, I mean, I think, I don't know,
And that's for them to decide. I'm not talking about whipping them into service. They can choose to join us. It's not, here's a spear, you must learn to use this. If they want to learn, look at Paco. Paco is willing to learn. He is learning, and he's going to...
He's doing great.
They can do the same. We can all take a squire. How does that sound?
I'm not taking a squire.
You're the only one that says we should just send them up front into battle. No one else suggested that.
I'm giving the worst case scenario. Anywhere they're going to be around a giant, they're going to get killed.
Yeah.
They can't take a hit. And you also got to put armor on them. All right, one hit, they're going to get splattered. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Vanessa raised her hand. I think you're being counterproductive, Covidius. It was merely a request of your help to continue on in our cause. If you want to go and find your friend, I completely understand that. So let's move on to the next order of business, which is what? Anyone else have suggestions?
I agree we need to do our research, and then after a day of research perhaps, and some religious insight, we'll know a better course of action.
Perhaps with my help, Shad. Perhaps with my help, we can find something about Cormac more quickly.
And I'm hoping that
where they are.
Your Majesty,
Who they are.
Prince Bartholansis will join us as well if he's welcome. I'm sure that he has insights of his own regarding books and research. I can't read Elvish. There may be Elven tomes here. I can't read them.
Right.
Neither can I.
Well, that is true.
I can read some languages, but not many. And I'm sure that you are a being of much wisdom and knowledge.
Give me a lot of credit.
At least knowledge. Boom.
All right, so Kettle Tom's like, all right, well, it sounds like we're in some kind of an agreement. Pick, if you're going to go all the way back to Tila, that's what, 3 days from here? So, I mean, let's say you stay there for 3 days to try to find out something, and 3 days back, that's 9 days. So I would hope and maybe something else will turn up in 10 days. And Pick's like, yeah, if I'm not back in, say, 10 days, you should just assume the worst. And Covidius says, and Rise is just a couple, like 2 days away from here. I'll go down there, see what I can find out, and come back. I should be back before then. And then Kettle Tom says, all right, then, that's cool. Go ahead and do whatever it is you got to do. So Covidius and Pick are like, all right, I'll see you guys when we're back. And they
Ride safely.
They leave.
Watch out for Dick Flint. Oh.
Shame on you, man.
What did he say? What did you say, Brad?
Watch out for that dickhead Flint.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Okay, so what do you guys do then? So Kettle Tom says, I'm gonna go talk to Abbot Patrick and see what I can find out. And he leaves.
Well, let's all go talk to Abbot Patrick and get this library thing straight out.
I agree.
By the time I met this man, no.
Milady Panetta, please lead the way. I don't want to sound or appear to be, boring.
Of course.
Stomping around inside the holy enemy.
Barty, you gonna go with us to the library?
Sure.
All right, let's go.
I would appreciate your help.
I will lead the way to the Abbot's chambers.
All right. So when you get there,
Abbot!
you can see a guard outside, and he knocks on the door. And Abbot, you have some visitors.
Go away.
You're shown in, and when you get in there, you can see the Abbot and Shadrach. You recognize the Both the sacrist and the librarian are there.
I
And
bow.
they acknowledge your presence, and Abbot Patrick says, "Gentlemen," then he looks over at Bart, and he says, "You must be Prince Bart.
In the flesh.
We don't get that many elves around here, but your kind is welcome, as is every other kind that is civil."
Well, thank you very much.
Sister Vanessa, good morning.
Good morning. We seek to get into the tomes, do some research today.
I have instructed our librarian that he is to help you. Just understand that these books are very precious and they're not to be roughhoused or messed with in any way. And I give the
Certainly
librarian
not.
full authority to help you and or not help you as he sees fit. Shadrach, I'm sure you're familiar with the procedure for handling these books. The sacrist has also agreed, but those of you that are not, oh gosh, how do I say this delicately, which is really not my strong suit. Those of you that probably don't belong in with the sacrist, I would prefer you not even attempt to go there. So if you are someone who
Oh, yeah, check your thumbs.
is not, if you don't know how to read, I prefer you don't go.
It's just Vanessa, Shadrach, and Bart at this point. So is he?
Yeah.
Okay, he's still saying it's like okay, we're of the faith.
He's not going to the library. No. He's going to teach people how to use a spear.
Okay, so Vanessa,
Read.
Shadrach, and Bart are shown to the library, which is down under the floor of the temple. And tell me what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and we will roll to see if you are successful. So let's start with Vanessa.
Well, I'm going. If it helps, I would like to do an assist roll so that we're working together.
Sure.
To find, if at the very least, before we start reading, Vanessa asked Shad, "Now, are we looking for information on Kolam, or are we looking for information on the cult, or both? I mean, what is it we're hoping to find?" And then I will also look for these things.
You find out
I'll
what
make
that's
this
called.
suggestion. Bartholansis, I was going to ask you to research anything you could find on the name Kolam and Guardian of the Forest, while Vanessa and I researched the Death Cult and any association with the names Stallman, Klim, and Macon.
Macon.
Okay.
These are the names I have whittled down, and I just remember the Death Cult. I don't think that it was named specifically, but that was, if we can, and then if he finds anything about Kolam, we can put the information together because Kolam was the one who knew about them. So
Yes.
there's something like there. So this is a convergent research project.
And Stallman Klim was from the southern continent, I believe.
Research.
Yeah, I thought Stallman Klim was a bad person. That was my
With the cult, yeah.
yeah. I thought he was like the bad leader of the on the island we need to go to.
And you said Macon was the other one.
Macon, M-A-C-N.
Okay.
Well, that's how I spelled it. So.
Yeah, me too.
What am I trying to find out?
Okay, so those are the things that we're looking for.
All right.
Who is that stuff you're looking for?
What again? What's that, Brent? I can't hardly hear you.
What are you researching?
You're researching Colam.
Oh, Colam, okay.
And the Guardian.
All right. Bartholanthus. My first question would be, do you have any ability, spell, or proficiency which could aid you in finding out information through researching in books?
Yeah.
And if you do have such a thing, tell me what it is and how you use it. And then, of course, I will ask.
Ancient history.
I will ask Shadrach and Vanessa the same question when it is their turn.
It's a rewriting ancient history.
Ancient history?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what ancient history that pertains to? Because I think that ancient history
I
pertains
think it's Cumberland.
to Cumberland, is what I remember.
Yeah.
So, in this particular case, that would not apply.
Rewriting, that's all. There's one thing I got.
I have to research the spell real quick, so give me a second, but I still can talk. So.
Oh, crap. That would help. This is my reading.
Okay. So you have no bonuses basically to your roll. So I would like you to roll an intelligence check on a d20, please.
17. Plus, that's a roll plus my intelligence?
Correct?
Okay, so 17 plus 18.
That makes 35.
Yeah.
That's a nice amount. Okay. So you ask the librarian to, if there's any books that he's aware of that have anything to do with the territory of in the northeast there on the coast, on the slave hold, on perhaps any historical text about the region, about the forest by the Great Cliff, and
Forest Guardian.
by the something that might mention the Forest Guardian or somebody named Colam.
Yeah.
And he says, well, none of that. I mean, we have a little bit of history on who was in charge of those lands over the past 300 years because of the roles of who was given control over that territory under the Republic. Unfortunately, even with a good roll of 35, without any bonuses or whatever, the only reference to that area this far south would be that at one time that land was controlled by it was like a wild land with uncivilized bugbears and goblins and gnolls, but unfortunately no giants, and that there was a time when the legend that you uncover says, and the great bird bestowed upon the people of the Great Cliff a heavenly egg, one that could be used to protect the land only if the people worked together. And so the great egg was placed where Kolam said it would do the most good. And for a time, the battles subsided, but then Kolam disappeared and the egg was lost. And that is the only information that you get about that from your research.
Okay. I'm sure when I find out the others.
Okay, so in the meantime, Shadrach and Vanessa are researching what?
Okay, what I'm doing is I'm using my religion knowledge. I am coordinating with the librarian and sacrist if they are there on hand. I'm sure they are, to make sure we don't tear anything out or, drool on the paper. I'm using basically my religion. I'm trying to find out specifically about the death cult. And the death cult as related to the Western Ocean or islands in the West, anything like that. And that's what I'm using.
And Vanessa...
I can cast...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if there's any kind of thing I can't... I'm sorry, if there's any kind of thing I can't read, I can cast translate if necessary. So...
Okay. And Vanessa is assisting.
Also, I have the religion proficiency as well as reading and writing, obviously, but and same as Shadrach, she can use translate if necessary.
But
yeah, all references to death cult.
As far as you guys know, there's no other ability or spell or proficiency that you would like to or can use to aid you in your research.
Not that I have found.
I think that if I cast anything, it would be they wouldn't let me do it because it's their holy stuff, so I wouldn't do that. And it might take me time.
Okay.
Like I'd have to take these books out of here, and I wouldn't do it in their presence because that would be insulting to them. And it would take time for me to do it. So
I'm capable of casting read language or something that I can't make out or don't understand, other than translate.
yeah, if there's a book that I think might have something interesting in it, I can cast translate and read it if I can't read it normally.
Okay, so you can both roll your religion separate, or one of you can roll it with advantage. And if Vanessa is assisting, then that means Shadrach would roll it with advantage.
All right, let me see. My religion score is 18. So my first roll is a 17, so that's 35.
Is there a picture of Kolam in the book?
And the second roll, so 35 is my top roll.
Okay.
Is there an illustration of Kolam in the book?
How about you roll me a level check? Let's see if you get lucky. That's on a D30, Brad. Do you have a D30?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
What's that, my level or less?
Nope, you're gonna add
D30 plus your level.
You're gonna add your level to your roll and tell me the total. And it's your highest level of whatever class is highest. That's what you're adding.
24 plus 15.
That is 39. Okay,
Huh?
so yes, there appears to be a illustration of Kolam with his arms spread out. It appears to be a male humanoid figure, and this is penciled in black and white. It's not an illuminated manuscript. And the person who is made out to be Kolam is wearing a robe with very long sleeves, and it extends all the way to the ground, so you can't see his feet. And in front of him appears to be, like, for lack of a better term, a giant egg. It's like as tall as he is.
Okay.
And that's what the illustration is. And
Cool. Maybe. Order.
now I'd like you to make a perception check, please.
Perception.
And that is a
D20?
30 plus of your intelligence.
Okay.
And give me a total on that.
25 and 18.
That's 43.
Nice.
That will allow you to get cling. You just unlocked a bonus level. So your eyes start to narrow on this picture, and you notice that there appears to be odd-shaped lines on the egg.
That's the line. Like rings?
Like something you might have seen on an egg-like structure that you examined recently.
Okay. The rock.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so Shadrach and Vanessa. Shadrach, you rolled a 35. So
Yes, sir.
the librarian directs you to. This book appears to be much newer, in better shape. The outer leather cover is still without a lot of wear, and the binding is still tight and holding up well, and the pages are not completely yellowed and sometimes dog-eared on the corners. And you find out that the death cult is seemingly a newer phenomenon based off of the coast and in the islands of which you are aware. And the islands, the death cult appears to be there because those people that profess to be a part of that cult are shipped away and put on those islands as if they were a prison island. So they're not actually killed, but they're put on those islands to be exiled. And
That may have been what I saw in my vision.
And that one of the leaders of the death cult he was a priest of the blend that was excommunicated because though the idea of death is a part of everything, unfortunately this guy took it too far and was doing sacrifices, and that is against the law. And his name is Stallman Clem, and he was he was convicted of crimes against the Republic, most namely murder, conspiracy, and extortion, because it was proven that he was offering to certain rich individuals not to sacrifice their kids if they would pay him money.
Dirty, rotten scoundrel.
I knew that. The name meant something. Yep.
And
It
what,
is 2 days to the island. That's it. From the fort. It was 2 days to that island. Aha! My notes are coming back. In the southwest. Woohoo! Ooh!
It all became so clear.
I don't know what noises you're making, but I'm getting a Woody.
Chad's putting it all together now. Yep. We got to go back. We have to go back to the fort.
I have to go back to the island we originally came on. So,
Well, we need to go back to the fort first because that's where Colan is.
I'll tell you what, I got something better than Colam. I know where the egg is.
You do?
Wasn't it?
We walked right past.
Well, none of these people were there.
Oh, that's right. Just say.
Yeah, different characters.
I'll tell you guys about Colam and the egg, and I'll tell you I know where the egg is.
But this,
Right.
Was this on the mainland or on an island?
Thinking island. But,
That's where this egg was?
yeah. No, it's on mainland.
Ah. Well,
Where
it's
did-
still close to where the fort was. So
Was it-
that's the direction we want to go.
It was where we camped out the first night, in my room. Well, it was the fifth night we were together.
So,
Well, that's interesting, because if Colam was protecting the egg, then,
It's supposed to be protecting the egg, but
but it was lost.
you're right. It's not
Well-
found.
now it's been found, yes, indeed.
If it's still there.
I can get to it today.
What?
Well, don't go alone. I could probably fly there in a quick amount of time so I knew where I was going.
You got time frame I'd make it there.
I mean, I could fly back to the fort probably pretty quick.
Yeah, this is
Maybe
like
there
this
But
is
if we can get the egg, then we have to get it to Colam or get,
Hold on,
Or get
Daryl,
Colam to
go
get it.
ahead. Daryl's turn. Go ahead, Daryl.
even if we can get the egg, we have to get it to Colam. Wouldn't it be easier to get Colam to the egg?
Maybe
Chad
Colan's
says
not
maybe you
alive
can't use
anymore.
it.
Maybe Colan's not
Possible
alive
you can't
anymore.
use that area.
I pray that he is still alive.
We need to go back to find out. And we also, if anything, we need to secure this egg.
I agree.
I've got the spell
And then
memorized.
if we're not
How we
doing
get
it,
to do it
we're-
again, find out what it does. And
We need to do it,
what
but
we
we
need to
can't
do
just-
to get it back here.
I
You
don't
guys are
think
both
we're
talking
gonna
at the
do
same
it.
time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't understand half of that last conversation.
Go, Brad.
Okay.
Do.
Right, I can get you within the next day or two. Oh, don't within the next day or two.
We can get to the egg in the next day or two?
We can get to the egg and bring the egg back here today. I can find out what the egg does today. Okay.
No.
It should take me 8 hours to cast a spell to find out what the egg does.
We shouldn't bring it back here. Chad disagrees.
Why?
This is a protected place.
This isn't the place for
Exactly.
the egg. It's
No.
And I need to put it inside one of my... Then I need to make one of those secure huts and research it in there. It needs to be researched.
Well, I can't stop you.
I'm not familiar with your magics, and I've not seen this egg. So are you going to be able to take it to Kolam? I think we should get Kolam.
I don't know what Kolam is. Do you know what Kolam?
He was near the fort.
Are you sure it was
We
Kolam?
can easily find him. I don't think it will be hard to find him.
How old is this
If we
text
have
I was
the
reading?
egg, he'll know we have the egg. I'm sure he'll sense that we have the egg.
How old is the text I was
What
reading?
that have the egg? Not this plate.
Job?
Well, you said that in the picture, the egg was bigger than Kolam. So how are we going to move that?
Magic.
Oh.
Kolam obviously doesn't know where it is.
Kolam can't leave.
He's not alive anymore.
That's my concern. If he fought off that army, he may be past.
Do we know it was him that fought out the army?
No, we didn't see it, but it was his horn.
I believe that is what happened.
It was a magical item. So, it didn't necessarily have to be Kolam that blew the horn.
Well,
Okay.
from our experience, I believe that it was Kolam that blew the horn. I returned the horn to him personally.
Okay, so he is still alive.
He was when we last saw him, yes.
But
He was.
his horn sounded at the battle.
Then why would he have possession of the egg anymore?
He had been captured, according to the legend that you shared with us, and buried or banished or something to that effect.
We saw, yes, that's where we returned him from. Yes.
So they already have possession of the egg anyway.
He had been trapped for who knows how long. But we set him
How old
free.
was the text? How old was the text I was reading?
Didn't it say?
I'll ask the librarian how old the text was I was reading. With the
This book
illustration
here?
of Kolam.
This book here was written and compiled, let me see, in the year 3817. So that's been 10 years ago.
Should be alive.
Okay, Bart, I don't mean to pry, but I'm curious about your magic. You say you can go there today. What if we gather our group? Can we all go there with you? Or is that even possible?
I can't bring that many people with me and bring something back. You bring a couple people with me.
Dad looks at Vanessa and he kind of has he's got kind of like his expression is one of concern. He doesn't seem to be very happy about what's being expressed.
She is also concerned. She said, I am also concerned, Shadrach. I don't understand this. Believe me, Bart, I appreciate you joining our cause. I just don't understand the magics that you use. Mine all come from prayer. And I want to trust you, and I appreciate your help. But it all seems a little uncertain to me, and I'm used to planning and having things a little... I'm not used to just popping about, I guess. It's making me a little uneasy, the whole thought of it.
The whole process probably makes you a little uneasy.
Hold on, Brad, go ahead.
I said the whole process will probably make you a little uneasy in your stomach.
Go ahead, Jason.
Chad says, this is a relic, an important relic, and I think that it needs to be reunited with Colam as soon as possible. That's my counsel on this, and I will say no more.
I think that might be the better approach.
Okay.
So if we can retrieve it, should we I'm sorry, go ahead, Brad.
No, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Should we try to check and see if Colam is okay first? If we magically transport to where this egg is, Shadrach, you could fly to the area of the fort to see what's happened there and see if you can contact Colam.
Okay, it's a good week for the fort.
I could, yeah, but still, I'm not sure how we're getting there, and that bothers me.
Magically transporting is what Bart is suggesting.
How many of us can go?
Huh?
How many of us can go?
Oh, goodness.
That's important to know.
You better wipe after that one, Brad.
Huh?
You better wipe after that one.
Yeah.
That didn't sound too good. Sounds like me when I stubbed my toe on my dick.
It's all right.
Love it. Stub my toe on my dick.
It's only funny because you said it.
It was funny when you said it too, man. Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, I tripped over my balls.
Yes,
Excuse me.
You think your diabetes is bad? You better check your goiter.
I got elephantitis of the testes.
I'm sure all my testes change very long.
Club neck right there.
I had to get a skateboard to rest my balls on.
My tickets will make it in tomorrow.
We digress pretty quickly.
Oh, fuck it, Doc.
So where is it?
So, if we can take, say, 3 people, he said a couple of people, I feel like I should stay and let one of the warriors go to help. What do you think?
So much weight
well,
for...
Chad said,
Well,
I think Boris is the one to go.
He's
Another one, he's a hothead.
I think he would serve you well as a protector. If either of you must cast spells or concentrate on something, he could watch over.
Chad says, honestly, if Covidius could go, that would be great, but I don't see that happening. He would certainly be an asset.
I believe he left this morning, or maybe he's going to in the morning.
I heard, yes, I know. His prowess with a blade and in combat, would, like I said, would be quite an asset. But otherwise, I think Boris would be the best one to go.
Where the fuck is it?
We've learned quite a bit, Sacrist. We appreciate all that you've let us dig into here, and Vanessa will give him whatever religious protocol, thanks or greeting or whatever it is. She does the official business before she leaves. She gives him his respect.
What is it?
Chad's the same way. He's very officious. He's very respectful. Thanks them very kindly, and compliments them on their wonderful library.
They are both. The sacrist says, anything that helps solve a mystery and shuts those slavers down. Stallman Klim is a name I haven't heard in a long time. And if he's still around, then he needs to be put down like a wild dog who's frothing at the mouth at the sight of the children that he can steal.
Put his way.
I couldn't have said it better.
I'm kind of surprised to hear that.
Librarian says, I'm just happy to help, Shadrach. I love talking to you. You're a very interesting man.
Thank you. You've been a great help and service.
The blend provides.
Okay, so it's 250 pounds plus 150 pounds per level. Up to 700 pounds. No, it's 13th level, 700 pounds. So, no.
Yes, but if 3 of us go, can 3 of us come back with the egg?
That's a good question. But,
I don't think you should bring the egg. I mean, if you have to, of course, it will be protected by the blend.
why
But-
bring the egg now?
I could conceal the egg where it is.
Well, if maybe Colam will have more insight once he's rejoined.
I can contact you.
Yes, once that happens, then perhaps some more light, the blend will shed a greater light on the mystery.
Oh, maybe you should come along, Vanessa. I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of big,
Yeah.
and if he's can only do a certain amount of people, I don't think I'm the best one.
Hold on. Be right
All
back.
right. Well, I would.
I would love to join you and be at your side, Shadrach, but I
believe your knowledge and your power would both be also again a great asset. I feel rather alone doing this. I feel bad leaving everybody behind, but I'll go. And I think if we should take a warrior, then let it be Boris. I trust him. He seems to be focused enough on what he's after, and I think that will help him keep a sharp eye.
If there's another way, I'm open to suggestion. And before you leave, I could ask the blend to divine whether or not this is a wise course of action.
2,500
I
pounds.
respect that. I agree with that. Bart, I think you should agree with that too.
What?
Allow me to pray before you leave to gain insight as to whether or not this is a good course of action to go after the egg in this way.
Start praying.
We also have to ask Boris. He may not want to do this.
That's true.
He may have an aversion to this.
In that
I don't know.
case, one of the other warriors might be able to go. Well, excuse me then, gentlemen, and I will go and pray on this.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Prince
so that's
Bart,
alright. We tried
let's
it.
go find this other warrior and ask him if he would agree to go with us. How does that sound?
Cool. 2,500 pounds.
That's pretty good. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's more than 3 people.
But we don't know how much that fucking egg weighs. We don't know how much that fucking
Yeah,
egg weighs.
but we're not going to bring the egg back.
Whoa,
That egg could weigh a ton, Bart. That egg could weigh a ton, and that's...
It's not going to weigh a ton, trust me.
That was a pretty big rock we saw. It wasn't just, it was big.
Right? I know. It should be altered.
That's also another reason why Boris should go, because he saw the rock.
I really want to cast identify on it. See if
I
it's
thought it was like about as big as a...
I seen it.
Didn't he say it was about
I seen it as a
as big as a
ring.
desk or something? That was a big rock, man.
Hold on, try not. I seen it as a rock on a ring.
Really?
Originally when I seen it, it was a gemstone on a ring.
Well,
So I have a feeling it's got magical qualities that I reduce its size. Don't know that, but I have to cast identify on it. In order to do that, I need to bring it back here, or I need to do the spell there. But, you know, whatever.
I'm not familiar with what you're doing as far as getting us there so quickly, and that kind of disturbs me, but still, I will trust you.
Okay, well, it's a spell that transports us through the astral plane to another location instantaneously.
Astral plane?
Yeah, it's beyond. That's the way I can explain it.
Yes, it's beyond me. Yes,
You can also have a
I see now. Don't tell Boris.
whatever I have is yours.
I
So.
don't think that's a good idea.
Basically, you're stepping through a portal that transports you from one place to another.
Oh yes, I know. I've seen such things, and they're usually quite disorienting.
Yeah, it can make you sick to your stomach and throw your head off a little bit, but
I have the ability to walk among trees in a similar fashion, but it doesn't feel the same. It actually feels pleasant to me. It might not feel pleasant to you.
I don't know.
Again,
You
what
get
you're
used to
doing
it after
may
a
feel
while.
pleasant to you.
You get used to it after a while.
I think any kind of blessings we can put on Boris would be a good idea. I don't know how long they'll last. I'll try to I'll get a supply of good berries for us. So
Yeah.
we won't have to worry about eating.
So you want to wait to do it till
We should get
tomorrow, or you want to
granted.
do it today?
I'd like to do it tomorrow. I'd like to get ready, prepare tonight. Like I said, get some good berries. I may cast a few spells myself tonight in prayer before we go. And I'll probably require just a few minutes in the morning to pray.
Okay.
If we can get there instantaneously, then we don't need to be in an absolute hurry. Otherwise, it would take us a few days to get there. Even if I was flying, I imagine it would
Take
probably take a couple
about
of
2
days.
weeks to get there from what I'm gathering. It took us about a fortnight to get here from there.
Well, we also had a big group of people. That's not
really.
big groups of people notoriously move slowly, especially if they're badly organized.
And
And I don't
me,
think
Boris, and Guy took us a week to get to you guys at the fort.
well, like I said, I can probably get from here to there, probably flying in 2 days. Because I don't have to worry about anything. I'm flying at animal speed, and I could probably become a hawk and go as fast as I can. Something like that. Or a swift, a barn
Race?
swallow. They're like
Race?
some of the fastest birds.
Would you like to race?
A duck. Yeah, I think we need to wait till tomorrow
Sure thing.
and get everybody. We have to tell everybody what we're
We
doing.
probably ought to get the Abbots for blessing as well.
Well, that's fine. We can get the Abbots, but we haven't even asked Boris yet if he wants to go.
Right.
We're assuming he's going to be like, yeah! So, but
No,
yeah, he
no.
knows he's seen this stone before, so why not?
He's Barbarians, they notoriously don't like magic.
I know, but if anything, I think I'll be able to talk him into it.
I've heard that before. Didn't turn out well.
Yes, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. It was fucking hell fireballs. It wasn't cool.
So that's our plan. Vanessa's gonna do her prayer. Shadrach is going to, like I said, get a couple of, get some good berries together. Gonna gather some components. And then in the morning we can go. You know, we got to tell Boris, tell everybody else what we're doing. That should take us a day, and then
We have to.
we'll be fresh in the morning.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are having this talk or whatever, and Vanessa, were you present for that entire conversation?
No, I had to excuse myself, and they were still there in the
Okay.
library.
And where did you go?
I'm going to go and prepare some incense and get ready to cast a divination spell.
Okay.
And if that is like prohibited in any areas, I won't do it there. Maybe near the grove, outdoors would be okay.
It would just be by the parameters of the spell.
Give good berries.
Page 213.
You look like those dudes on the Three Stooges Go to Mars or whatever it was. They had to flying stuff.
So there's not any specific place that it says to do it, but the only thing
And I'm talking about monastery rules. I don't want to break any monastery rules by performing magic.
None. I mean, if it's just benign spells,
Okay.
nobody's. But obviously, there are places that may or may not be holier or have more magic imbued into their location than others. So I guess
Yes.
I just need you to
In the
tell.
temple would be ideal.
Okay. So tell me what you do, and depending on how cool you are, you might get a bonus to any type of random thing in the spell.
I get my incense going.
And where are you?
I'm in the temple near the altar,
Okay.
and I have a small little censer with my incense in it.
Okay. Hold on. So you would know this. I'm just adding this in for flavor. So you go and you find someone above you, and you happen to see the prior, who is the second in command. And you ask, you were planning on casting a spell, and you need to be in the temple to do it to maximize its effectiveness. And he will say, is this spell, what spell is it? And
Divination.
you say divination. He says, okay. I have the authority to allow you to do that. And I see no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. Thank you for asking. I will make sure, do you need the temple or a part of the temple prepared for your casting, or is that something you will do to make sure it's done correctly?
I will take care of that part of it. Thank you very much.
And when are you wanting to use the temple?
Right away.
Okay. Then Do you have all of your necessary things that you will need to cast the spell with you now?
Yes, sir.
Then let's walk over there together. And you both walk over to the temple, and he talks to a couple of the clerics that are there, and he explains to them what's going on. And he says she's not to be disturbed until he makes it clear that she is finished. And what area would you like to cast the spell in?
If there's a symbol of the order that is in a revered position, then, or near the holy water, perhaps, whatever Daryl doesn't know because I don't go to church and I don't study religion, but Vanessa knows the best place where prayers are said.
Okay, so you have actually two spots that I might suggest. One would be
close the whole thing up.
One would be at the altar, and the symbol of the blend is behind the altar and upon the wall. Or you could go to the most holy place where the most holy relics are kept, which is the sub basement, which is even below the library. But you would need, it would have to be a spell that would be worthy of being cast there. So
Okay. So the altar will do in this situation. That is greatly appropriate. I will go to the altar, take out my censer, and get the incense going.
As you are setting up for the spell, you can see that people are starting to leave the temple. And then just as about you've got your incense set up and you're making sure you've got your things that you will toss to make the divination. Have you done this before?
Yeah, I didn't read that on this one. What does she have? I know she has stones. That's what it is. I gotta look at my old character sheet because that's not on here. She's got the stones.
Sacrificial offering? Oh, okay. So you got to have a sacrificial offering.
You're thinking of augury, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So the material components of the divination spell are a sacrificial offering, incense, and the holy symbol of the priest. If an unusually important divination is attempted, sacrifice of particularly valuable gems, jewels, or magical items may be required. So, what would you like to sacrifice to cast the divination?
Well, I begin with the incense burning and then the prayers. I use my prayer beads and I go through the entire row of them saying each individual prayer. I then sing a short hymnal, and then when it comes to the climax of the religious ceremony, I will pull my hairpin and prick my thumb and let 2 drops of blood drip into the incense and begin to smolder. And I pray, Heavenly Father, let the cosmic omnipotent benevolence of the blend smile upon me and show me if my actions, the actions of our group, will help us out. We plan to magically transport with Prince Bartolanthus to the egg that Colum should be guarding. If we go there now and seek to reunite Colum with the egg, will that aid us? Will that help us in our endeavor to rid the land of these slavers and free our people from the evil that they bring upon us? Heavenly Father, great surgeon, in the name of the doctor, the nurse, and the caregiver, I pray to thee. And then she begins to hum and free her mind and await any sort of possible response.
All
She
right.
goes into a trance.
So, I need you to roll. Unless I'm supposed to roll. Let me double check.
Yeah, it's a percentile, and then I get plus 1% per level, I think it is. And any other adjustments that you might feel are in order.
Okay.
I'm prepared to roll if you want me to.
Roll percentile.
93.
Oh no. Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, you are aware that the spell failed. You are aware that there was no... As your mind goes out, you don't sense any blockage, you don't sense any adversarial magic in the ether, you don't sense unfavor from the blend. You just sense that perhaps
I can kill.
perhaps the sacrifice of blood is not the correct choice because blood is life, and
life is what that we embody
If
as
you-
the blend.
if you
It is
wish,
what we protect. It is the most sacred thing.
if you wish to learn about something, probably the sacrifice should somehow be related to that which you wish to learn about. And you know, do you have spellcraft?
No.
All right. Well, if you did, I would tell you another reason, but I can't. So,
There you go.
But you realize that, yeah, something in the way you cast the spell didn't seem to jive with what you were trying to find out.
Very good.
In other words, even with any bonuses that I may or may not have given you, 93 is going to be a failure when your base chance is 60 plus 7.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I get it.
All right. So that just happened, and how does Vanessa react to the spell not revealing anything, as if she was hung up on accidentally by her?
She's a little confused. She knows that it was a risky choice using her own life force. But again, thinking that life is the most precious and valuable thing to the blend, she felt like it was enough. It would have been in line with her beliefs. But now she thinks, well, because we're not a religion of money or like wanting to be paid for things, it's more of a calling to save people. She meditates on it for a while, understanding that the blood sacrifice was not sufficient, and accepts the fact that she still has a lot to learn.
Okay, that's fair. Now, just for the DM a little insight. So obviously you could have succeeded with a better roll, but
Yes.
there's a general consensus in my opinion that if something is to be learned about, then you have to like look in the right place to learn it usually. And the same thing goes with magic, and I've always played with sympathetic magic, which means if you're trying to get something across, somehow magic will also try to meet you there, but you have to be in the right lane for it to connect. And so like if you were trying to ask about Kolam and your future, then sacrificing something that had any tie to those would have increased the chance.
Would have been a better choice.
Yeah, so, I mean, now, not that I would ever suggest you do this, but if you would have went and ripped a page out of that book that mentioned Kolam and used that as a sacrifice, then that would have aided rather than been a neutral or a negative. So, I'm just...
Yeah, that's a good example.
All right. So anyway, but still, a good attempt, and I don't have any issue with that at all.
And she when she's done, she lets the proctor know that thank you very much. I was unable to find the information I seek, but I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to use the holy altar.
Oh,
Very well. It is all practiced under the watchful eyes of the blend, and hopefully, even in failure, the blend may impart wisdom. And he escorts you and then kind of goes his own way, and kind of leaving you there at the door by yourself. Just like, and that would be a good place to stop for tonight's session, with that having happened and other people doing things. And there you have it.
Very good.
So, any parting words from any player? Any questions or interpretations?
Party poopers.
Huh?
I hope.
Hold on. What did you say, Brad?
Party poopers.
Oh, okay.
No, the whole asking everything is... Never mind.
Okay. Go ahead, Daryl.
You got it, huh?
I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and old Chris Crinkle Snap brings you everything you're wanting.
Yes. Chris Crinkle Snap. I give that to Cobb. All right, then I guess there should be no issues then with next Wednesday. Yeah, that'll be all over.
Cool,
all right, very good.
Good seeing you guys.
Thank you for playing. Good
love
night,
y'all.
and we'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas.
Roll them 20s. And that is it for tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.